Season is full of challenges that will try to make you crack. This time of year, there's no maybe I coulda went harder, or there's always next season. In the playoffs, you empty the tank like there's no tomorrow. Put all the personal accolades aside. Do anything to help your team come 1 point closer to ringing the victory bell. Hey Fordham, you were built for this opportunity. A journey that is 5 years in the making. Forged from the grit of New York City, this team was born for the spotlight. Crafted with that no-quit mentality. Prepared for all the dramatics that will soon unfold like a Broadway script. It's time to put everything on the line. Do or die. Win or go home. Your largest opportunity yet. Go Season.
Coco soars, end zone, touchdown, Fordham. Intercepted by Ryan Greenhagen. Who else? Number 50 for Tim Demorat. Trey Sneed caps off his big day with a touchdown. Intercepted. Stephen Williams makes the pick. He has MJ Wright. Touchdown, Fordham. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Fordham. The juice is loose at Benton Field. Taken down. Jonathan Costek. At Stadium is the scene for a first-round FCS playoff matchup between the 9-2 Fordham Rams from the Patriot League and the 8-3 New Hampshire Wildcats from the CAA on WFUV Sports. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the broadcast booth. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott and our entire WFUV Sports crew. And Danny, Fordham enters the FCS playoffs for the first time since 2015, looking to make some noise versus UNH, a team where Fordham head coach Joe Conlin was an assistant at for 7 years.
Fordham comes into this game riding a lot of momentum, winning their last 3, scoring 50 in twice of those. They come in with one of the best offenses in FCS history, averaging 611 yards per game, putting up over 50 points per game. We've talked so much about Tim Demorat this year, so we'll skip over him, but let's go to this receiving core. Fotis Kokosoulis, DeKeys Carter, MJ Wright, all 3 receivers putting up over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. And then the run game is nothing to scoff at either. Trey Sneed, 1,000-yard rusher this year, having a massive game last week, rushing for 230 yards.
Speaking of the Rams' electric offense, we spoke with Fordham head coach Joe Conlin about that and a lot more pregame before this one. Andrew Gullotta here with Fordham head coach Joe Conlin ahead of the Rams matchup against UNH in the first round of the FCS playoffs. Coach, you enter this game at 9-2 with your only losses coming against the MAC East champion in Ohio and Holy Cross, who's a ranked team and seeded within the FCS playoffs. They have a first-round bye. Your offense has broken so many records, led by Tim Demorat and company. Where do you feel like your team's at as you enter the playoffs, and how proud of you of the regular season to put up 9 wins?
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. We've had a really good week of practice. The last few weeks have been, I think, really good. I think this team, it's a veteran team. We have a good leadership, so there's no doubt in my mind that we'll be ready to play. Yeah, I told the guys all the time, I'm extraordinarily proud of how hard they've played this year. And they've shown some resilience. But I'm also proud of the fact that they understand that we could still play a lot better football, and I think that's the goal week to week, is just trying to play that much better from week to week.
Coach, your offense has been one of the best, not only in the FCS this year, but in FCS history. Tim broke the FCS regular season record for passing touchdowns. You had 3 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher as well in Trey Sneed, averaging over 50 points as well. How valuable is it to have this type of offense in a one-game elimination playoff bracket where you're really never out of a game?
Yeah, it certainly beats the alternative. Those guys have been fun. They're doing a great job. The offensive staff and the players are doing a great job. There isn't one unit that's been disappointing or anything like that. They've all done a great job. So it's fun to watch those guys. They're playing hard. They're executing. And it's great validation for a lot of hard work paying off. So.
Moving over to UNH this week, a team you're familiar with, coaching there for 7 seasons. Their offense really starts with their running game with Dylan Loudby.
996 yards, 12 touchdowns, which is right up there with the tops of the CAA. What are the keys to stopping him, both in the running game and also in the return game as well, as he's also a special returner?
He's a great returner. He's a heck of a back. He's really good on third down out of the backfield, like really good. He's fast. He's tough. He runs strong. He's really just, he's a very typical New Hampshire kid, just, tough, kind of overlooked in the recruiting process, just a really good football player. For a long time, UNH has been making a lot of money on kids like that, and he's no different. So, you got to tackle. I mean, that's the biggest thing with Dylan is you got to get hats to the ball and you got to tackle. He really runs strong and he's fast. So, if you're trying to make a lot of, and then they try to force you to make tackles in space, and if you're missing those tackles, you're gonna have a long day. So we got to get hats to the ball. We got to tackle. We got to do a great job.
Last question, Coach. Moving over to their defense, and that group really starts with 2 All-CAA defensive linemen in Josiah Silver and Dylan Ruiz.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those guys, they combined for 19.5 sacks, 27.5 tackles for loss. What does your offensive line have to do to keep those guys away from Tim?
Yeah, I mean they got to play really well. They got to hit their aiming points in pass pro. They got to strain to finish their blocks, and they got to do a great job first and second down in the run game. But, yeah, those two are as good as any defensive ends we're going to see all year. And we've seen some good ones. They're tough. They play hard. They're both long. They understand it as well as anybody. They have, and they're protected by a really good D tackle, number 9. So, it's going to be a challenge. Fortunately, we've been challenged by some really good defensive ends. You look back at the schedule, and Colgate with Coco and Lafayette with those guys, and Washington and Ham. Holy Cross. I think those guys are fantastic. So, we just got to do a great job with pad level, hitting our aiming points, and we got to play harder than they do.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're back here at Wildcat Stadium. That was Fordham head coach Joe Conlin. And there's something, Danny, that Coach Conlin talked a lot about in that pregame conversation we had with him, and it's about containing Dylan Laube.
Yeah, Dylan Laube is a very, very special back here for this UNH offense. Not only is he just such a good running back, but he's good, a great special teamer. First team All-CAA punt returner, second team All-CAA running back, and then third team All-CAA kick returner. So this guy took up 3 different positions on the All-CAA roster. Is a very, very good running back and a great receiving back too. Finished the year with 996 rushing yards to go along with 12 touchdowns, and then 40 receptions for 319 yards and a touchdown for the air as well.
Laube, the junior out of West Hampton, New York, 996 yards, so he's close there to that 1,000-yard mark as these two teams flooding the field. UNH wearing their navy blue jerseys, white pants, white helmets. The logo of UNH is plastered on their helmets. Fordham getting pumped up towards the far sideline in a huddle right now. They're wearing white jerseys, white pants, maroon helmets with the Block F Fordham logo on their helmets. And right now, this game is kind of slated to be a shootout between a Fordham offense that's ranked, at the top of the Patriot League, at the top of the FCS, but this UNH offense definitely not anything to scuff at, and that defense led by the defensive line will be a tough task for Fordham.
Yeah, Josiah Silver and Dylan Ruiz. Coach Conlin talked about them a little bit, but Ruiz comes into this game with 11 sacks, and Josiah Silver comes in with 8.5. Both of these guys are going to be a disturbance for the Fordham offensive line, so look for them to have one of their better games of the season if UNH wants a chance in this game with the Fordham O.
A beautiful day here on the campus of UNH here in Durham, New Hampshire. About 50 to 60% filled. The Fordham sideline benches are filled with Fordham fanatics as well as they made the trip up from the Bronx. Just a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. It is windy with the wind moving left to right towards the soccer fields beyond Wildcat Stadium. And Fordham will receive after losing the coin toss. Without to kick it away, Nick Mazie, the redshirt freshman kicker from Boxford, Massachusetts for UNH. Back to receive, it's MJ Wright, Trey Sneed, and Jack Kaiser back to receive. This kick will be left to right with the wind. As Mazie getting set to kick it away in the first round of the FCS playoffs. Whistles now sound as the ball falls off the tee, kind of breaking that climatic ice. With now Maisie setting the tee yet again. Kicking it to MJ Wright, who has really just been fair catching a lot for Fordham. Not too many returns from him. With now a special teamer holding it for UNH. It's Aaron Oro. Now Maisie approaches the ball, puts total leather, and we're underway in the FCS playoffs. UNH and Fordham. Wright takes the catch at the 1. He's taking it out as he cruises past the 15, and he's knocked down. Great special teams tackle by a few UNH Wildcats, and Fordham will set up shop at the 16-yard line with quarterback Tim DeMorat.
You know, typically any other offense in the nation would be very upset with the placement of that spot. However, this Fordham offense, so dynamic, does everything so well that they don't even care where the ball is going to be spotted. They're just going to drive down the field and play their game.
Tim DeMorat, the senior from Merritt Island, Florida, broken all the Patriot League records and almost all the FCS records as well. He's in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side, with DeMorat clapping to the waist-high snap. Throws down the far side numbers. He is MJ Wright for a nice gain to around the 29. It brings up a 2nd and short. Joe Eichmann on the tackle.
And I expect Fordham in this one to, especially this first drive, to be very methodical. A couple runs, a lot of screen passes from this offense.
DeMorat right back in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Coco Soulis and Wright on the far side. Trey Sneed is sidecar right to DeMorat as well as he stares into the 4-3 defense of UNH. The UNH defense is allowing 27 points per game about, with DeMorat taking the waist-high snap, surveying the field, unloading one deep for MJ Wright. It's incomplete. Down the far numbers in coverage, Max Oxendine, the junior, and it brings up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, and just a little stop and go route there from MJ. It kind of looked like he came to too much of a stop and wasn't able to keep his momentum going forward.
DeMorat in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the slot to the near side. As DeMorat looks for his play down the far sideline, it's Trey Sneed to the right of DeMorat. As Tim takes the head-high snap, fakes the run, throws short for Coco Soulis. He has the first down as he passes the 30 to the 31. Brought down by Max Oxendine again, but a first down for the Rams.
Yeah, a tough hit there from Coco Soulis. This game is definitely going to be very physical.
DeMorat races to the line of scrimmage. He's right back in the gun, looking for his play. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the slot to the near side. It's Jeff Ciccio with Sneed to the left of DeMorat. DeMorat claps, now takes the head-high snap, surveys the field, throws for Coco Soulis again, who breaks a tackle as he passes the 35 to around the 37. A nice first down gain for Coco Soulis.
Yeah, Fotis was a little bit quiet last week. I say quiet, but that's just the Fotis game. 5 receptions for 70 yards. He did haul in 2 touchdowns, but from what we've grown accustomed to him, already pulling in 2 catches, expect him to play great today.
DeMorat in the gun. 4 receivers, 2 on each side, with Coco Soulis and Felton now. Makai Felton checking in the slot to the near side. With DeMorat in the gun, Sneed to his right. As the quarterback takes the head-high snap, fakes the run, surveying the field, looking deep down the middle. It's almost intercepted. Max Oxendine caught his paws on it, but couldn't bring it home as DeMorat threw into double coverage. And a 3rd and around 4 is coming up for the Rams.
And a great play there from Oxendine. Kind of hid his coverage and dropped back the second that he saw Fotis kind of streaking across the middle wide open. A tough break there for UNH to not haul that one in, but Fordham gets very lucky and they'll have 3rd down coming up.
UNH crowd getting loud, banging on the bleachers here at Wildcat Stadium. DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers with Sneed to his right. Fakes the run, throws for Coco Soulis again on the out route down the far sideline. He has the first down, and the Rams move the chains.
I'm noticing a theme here, Andrew. Those little out routes to Fotis, 3 of them already so far in this game.
Joe Eichmann was in on the stop, but not before a Rams first down. Fordham is yet to run the ball. Check that yet in this first drive with DeMorat in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 near side, 1 far side receiver. It's MJ Wright with Sneed to the left of DeMorat. As Tim, staring into the 4-3 Wildcat defense, takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut, this time to Sneed as he weaves through tacklers. Has about 3 or 4 on that run as he gets to the 45, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 7.
And there's the first run of the game. I expect Fordham to run between the tackles quite a bit today with those 2 very good ends, Silver and Ruiz.
Josiah Silver, the sophomore from Hampton, Virginia. Ruiz, the sophomore from Kimmissee, Florida. With DeMorat in the gun, checking for his play down the far sideline of Fordham. With Sneed to the left of the quarterback. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 near side, 1 far side receiver as DeMorat claps to the head high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed again, who has a huge hole. Hits the far side numbers, a lot of green grass. 20, 15, 10, inside the 10. Finally brought down by Max Oxendine. But Trey Sneed with a big home run sets the Rams up inside the UNH red zone.
And Sneed picking up right where he left off a week ago. A massive game for him last week, starting off great in this one.
DeMorat races to the line of scrimmage. A bit of an odd setup right now with the tackles lined up to the numbers of both the near and far side. Phil Sala and David Ebonenya. Robert Sala, Jets coach, as DeMorat takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed as he weaves inside the 5 into the 3. The ball is loose. Who has it? It's UNH football. Trey Sneed coughs up the ball inside the 5, and the Rams offense can't convert for any points in their first possession.
And that's just heart-wrenching for any Fordham football player. You get down inside the 5-yard line and cough it up. We'll see what this UNH offense can do. They definitely have all the momentum on their side starting right here.
So trotting out onto the field is Max Brosmer, the sophomore quarterback from Roswell, Georgia. Dylan Lauby will be in the backfield, the running back for UNH. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side right, with Brosmer in the pistol and Lauby in the backfield. He takes the head-high snap. The run is fake, thrown to the far side. He has his receiver, and looks like Joey Corcoran has the catch down the far sideline. He has about 8, and it brings up a 2nd and 2.
And Fordham still without starting cornerback Brandon Spencer in this one. That means senior BJ Ferguson will be getting the start again, one of the best athletes on this Fordham team. However, with no Spencer, it definitely leaves room for them to pick on BJ.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. With the running back Thomason in motion. They fake it, now throw it out to Lauby, who has a lot of space down the near sideline as he cruises past the 40, 45, a lot of open room. It's a foot race, 25, 15, 10, 5, touchdown UNH. Dylan Lauby hits the big home run ball off the pass from Brosmer. UNH goes up 6-0, 10:39 remaining in the first quarter.
And that's exactly what Coach Conlin was talking about when we talked to him. He said he's so good out of the backfield. He has that breakaway speed and shows it off right there for about a 95-yard touchdown.
Nick Mazie on for the extra point. Will kick it left to right. With the holder is the quarterback, Max Brosmer. Mazie, the redshirt freshman. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 7-0, Wildcats lead over the Rams, 10:39 remaining in the first quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Miles Grossman.
And I'm Lou Orlando. And we're your broadcasters for Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Follow along all year as Anna DeWolf, Asia Dingle, and Caitlin Downey look to lead this veteran group to an A-10 title.
You can listen to us all season long on WFUV Sports' Spreaker page.
WFUV Sports, the home of Fordham Women's Basketball.
We're back in New Hampshire. The Wildcats up 7-0 over Fordham after Dylan Lauby took an 87-yard check down to the house from Max Brosmer. And Danny, a great start for UNH. They get the turnover in their red zone and then parlay that into a big touchdown.
Yeah, about as good of a start as you can get if you're the Wildcats, and about as bad of a start that you can get if you're the Rams on that one. Fordham, this offense is so dynamic that they're never out of any game, but UNH definitely has a lot of momentum going into the second Fordham drive, especially after getting that fumble recovery deep in their own territory, and then that huge breakaway run or pass and then run by Dylan Lauby.
This crowd was pumped up during our break. They were screaming UNH, dancing around alongside the head coach for New Hampshire, Rick Santos, who was kind of the golden boy of the UNH program, played quarterback from 2004 to 2007, three-time All-American, Walter Payton Award winner, and now he's back to coach UNH in their first playoff appearance since 2017.
Yeah, and Coach Rick Santos is good friends with Fordham offensive coordinator Kevin Decker, and Coach Joe Conlin is friendly with them. I wouldn't say they're exactly friends. However, not today, definitely, but both under Coach McDonald. So they're friendly with each other enough where they kind of greeted each other pregame. We saw it down on the field.
Coach McDonald was the UNH coach before Santos. Fordham head coach Joe Conlin called him an absolute legend as he led UNH to many, many playoff appearances from 2004 all the way to 2017. They made it every year in that span. Nick Mazie getting set to kick this one away, left to right, towards MJ Wright, Trey Sneed, and Jack Kaiser. The kick is away with Wright letting this one bounce. It goes out of bounds, and flags fly, so the Rams will get pretty solid field position as they'll start out at the 35.
Yeah, and just the little momentum battles, that right there gives Fordham a little bit more momentum going into this drive. They'll start about the 35-yard line, so that definitely helps them out quite a bit.
Tim DeMorant trots back out onto the field after the Trey Sneed fumble. It's Julius Luffridge who will now check in the game at running back for the Rams, a sophomore from Houston, Texas, as Sneed and Luffridge usually about split carries. Of late, Trey Sneed's been getting a little bit more, but maybe the fumble changes that. As DeMorant's in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 3 to the near side, 1 lone receiver to the far side. It's MJ Wright. With DeMorant clapping to the waist-high snap. The run goes off the right tackle by Julius Luffridge. He gets around 4, and it brings up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and Luffridge last week, only 7 rushes for 32 yards. We asked Coach Conlin about that, and he said he was a little bit banged up, but he thinks he's fully healthy going into this one. So hopefully he will have a great game, the second-team All-Patriot League running back.
DeMorant in the gun, takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, and loads one deep for Wright. He has a step through his hands, incomplete though. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 6. Some nice coverage for UNH. It was Randall Harris, the junior.
Yeah, and Wright just kind of burned him on that one. It was a tough pass for DeMorant. He had to kind of put a little bit more air under that one, instead more of a line drive pass that went through the hands of Wright.
So DeMorant in the gun on a 3rd and 6. Down 7 in the first round of the FCS Playoffs. The Rams, the 16th ranked team. UNH, the 15th ranked team. As DeMorant in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Luffridge to the right of the quarterback. DeMorant takes the waist-high snap, surveys the field, now scrambling towards the far side, still looking for a receiver, and this one is thrown out of bounds towards the Rams sideline, and the punt unit will come on for Fordham, led by Will Haslett.
Yeah, and there's that New Hampshire defensive line, Josiah Silver, putting a ton of pressure on Tim DeMorant. That's going to be a big issue for the Rams, especially with a little bit of a banged-up offensive line coming into this game.
The Rams will punt it away, down 7. 10:05 remaining in the first quarter, with all the momentum right now on the UNH side. Haslett, the sophomore, takes the head-high punt and will kick this one away. It's a good one as Lauby, the returner, backs up inside the 10 to receive it as he's trying to make man miss, cruising past the 20, finally brought down at the 19 by Ryan Greenhagen. And that's where UNH will set up shop, but there is a flag down on the play.
And it also looked like Dan Burns, a wide receiver, might have gotten in there, and James Conway. This Fordham special teams unit has struggled at points this year, so it looks a lot better. The multiple guys are getting to the football. That was a big thing that Coach Conlin had talked about, saying that they're rotating guys in and out, trying to figure out who wants to go down and make a play.
So the penalty was a block in the back on UNH, so the ball will be backed up inside the 10 to the 8. Now, when UNH had bad field position in their first drive, that didn't stop them. Dylan Lauby took it 87 yards to the house. Lauby, this time, is lined up as a receiver on the near side. It's Isaac Seed, the backup running back. He's to the right of Brosmer, the quarterback. 3 tight ends in the formation. 2 to the right side of the line of scrimmage, 1 to the left. With Brosmer taking the head-high snap, fakes the run, throws this one deep for Laube, and he has it at the 35 down the near side numbers. Garrett Williams in coverage, but a nice throw and catch from Browsmer to the running back.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could have a better throw than what Brosmer just did. It's just an absolute dot right there, right in the pocket of Laube.
Laube was down at the 37. As Brosmer in the huddle, and a 1st and 10 for UNH in their own territory. With Brosmer under center, and 2 receivers in the formation, 2 tight ends, the running back in the backfield, Seed. With Brosmer taking the snap, the run goes up the gut to Seed, and he's swallowed up and brought down. James Conway, Claudia Robinson in on the stop.
Yeah, John Coste a little bit banged up in this one. Not sure how much we're going to see of him, but Claudia Robinson, the true freshman, absolutely eats double-team blocks. A very, very good player for Fordham.
So now it's 2nd and 8 for UNH, and the Rams could probably catch their breath a little bit. Offense did a good job on their first drive down the field. Then they fumbled, and all hell ensued for the Rams. Quick touchdown for UNH, a 3-and-out by the offense, and a big play by Dylan Laube to set UNH up at their own 37. As Brosmer takes the head-high snap, throws out to his running back Thomason, and a nice tackle that time, waist-high by James Conway. And maybe Thomason, the running back, was able to gain 2, and a 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, and James Conway, this team's leader in tackles, finished the year with 114 and a first-team All-Patriot League bid.
So UNH, they're in the huddle, getting ready for their play. The Rams subbing players in and out. The Rams on 3rd down, 36.6%, which isn't too bad, better than last season. With Brosmer in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 1 lone receiver on the near side, with Brosmer taking the head-high snap, climbs the pocket, surveying the field. Now he's going to try to run for a 1st down. He dives. Did he get it? And it's looking like he did. The quarterback dove right down near the 1st down marker. Now our officials are telling the chain gang to move up, and a 1st down's called.
Yeah, very, very close. Kind of a UNH spot on that one. It looked to me like he might have been about half a yard short, but regardless, UNH gets the 1st down and continues their massive momentum swing here early.
Something different in the playoffs is both coaches will have a replay challenge, which is something that you don't see in the regular season. With Brosmer in the pistol, Laube in back of him. The head-high snap's taken by Brosmer, given off to Laube off the left tackle. He's swallowed up inside by Richard Hofis at midfield, and a 2nd and 7 incoming.
Yeah, and this Fordham defense has gotten so much better against the run. Even with a great back like Laube, he's really making his plays through the air so far in this one. Only picks up about 3 yards. They have been swarming to the football, and this defensive line has stepped up in a big way since early in the season.
Brosmer in the gun. Laube, sidecar right, the running back. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. With Corcoran, the lone receiver, on the near side. Moriso in motion, a receiver, with Laube taking the head-high snap, throwing short for his tight end, Kyle Lepowski, breaking tackles, finally pushed out of bounds by James Conway, but not after a 1st down for UNH, and another, that time, nice quick pass for Brosmer.
Yeah, and Kyle Lepowski, a very, very good receiving tight end, standing at 6'4" and 252 pounds. He's also not easy to take down, so he's a guy that I imagine UNH is going to look to get the football a lot today.
Max Brosmer is a perfect 5 for 5 to start off this game. 135 yards and a touchdown for him, and he's in the pistol. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side right. It's Laube in the backfield as they fake the run, throw down the far side. Another completion out to Joey Corcoran, the receiver. B.J. Ferguson in coverage, but another 1st down for, or check that, 2nd down and short for UNH.
Yeah, and I'm shocked Corcoran was able to hold on to that ball. Ferguson was all over him on that one. Also surprised that we didn't see a penalty flag thrown on that one. It was very, very tight coverage, but an amazing pitch and catch there from Brosmer to Corcoran.
A 2nd and 3 inside the Fordham 35 at the 33. With Brosmer in the pistol, 3 receivers all to the near side, 1 tight end, strong side left. Receiver in motion, Thomason. The run goes off the right tackle for Laube as he breaking tackles, cruising inside the 25 to the 24. Finally brought down by Ryan Greenhagen, but another 1st down run for Dylan Laube.
And not only does Laube have that breakaway speed, but he also has the vision, finding a couple different holes on that one, just weaving his way through traffic to pick up the 1st down.
And this has been just a nightmare start for the Rams. Something they're pretty used to, though, as they've had a lot of first quarter troubles. At Ohio, they went down 14-0. Holy Cross, they got off to a slow start as well. With Brosmer under center, with Laube in motion. The run goes off the left tackle to him as he has a lot of open room as he has the far side numbers inside the 10, finally knocked out of bounds at the 5 by Anthony Tony Itoya, the senior from Texas, but a first and goal incoming for UNH.
And the Wildcats right now are just sticking to almost a Fordham game plan. Get the ball in the hands of your best player and let them make plays. That's what UNH has done for most of the season with Laube, and it's paying off in a big way for them early in this one.
First and goal from the 7. 5 minutes and ticking in the first quarter. UNH already up 7-0. Threatening to make it 14. Brosmer in the gun. 2 receivers, 1 on each side. 2 tight ends as well with Seed in the backfield. Brosmer back to pass, throwing a fade route for his receiver. Incomplete with some nice coverage by B.J. Ferguson. And that time, Ferguson got the upper hand over Joey Corcoran.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that one was an offensive pass interference on that one, like the one from earlier that I thought it should have gone on Ferguson. Corcoran kind of tackled him to the ground as BJ was trying to make a play on that football.
Second and goal from the 7. Wildcats moving left to right towards the soccer fields at UNH with Brosmer in the gun. 2 receivers, or check that, 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side right. With the running back Thomason in the backfield. He's to the left of Brosmer. Brosmer claps to the head, high snap, surveying the field, stepping up in the pocket, and he's brought down. The ball is loose and picked up by Stephen Williams, but they're going to say it was a forward pass. And that was awfully close to being a big sack for Fordham, but it'll be a 3rd and 7.
Yeah, you mentioned it just a minute ago that now the coaches have an opportunity to challenge some plays. Interested to see if Coach Conlin is going to use that play here. It looked like it might have been punched out. However, not sure if that arm was coming forward.
Now that ball squirted all the way into the end zone, so definitely had some power behind it. So maybe that made the referees lead to a forward incomplete pass. 3rd and goal from the 7. Brosmer in the gun. Laube to his left, and now whistles sound. And a timeout's called by UNH on this 3rd and 7. UNH up 7-0 over Fordham. 4:42 remaining in this first quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports. Hey everyone, Andrew Gullotta here, WFUV's play-by-play voice for Fordham Rams football. The Rams are exciting as ever this season, riddled with all-Patriot League talent and FCS superstars like quarterback Tim Demorat, wide receiver Fotis Kokosoulis, and linebacker Ryan Greenhagen. Follow Fordham's quest for a Patriot League title all season long on WFUV Sports. You can listen to the Rams every Saturday on 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports Spreaker page. WFUV Sports, the flagship station for Fordham Athletics. We're back in New Hampshire. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. And Danny, this UNH offense is playing lights out right now. Max Brosmer, 6 of 8, 142 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Laube, the running back, he's got 2 catches for 115 yards and an 87-yard touchdown. He also has 29 yards on the ground. And his Fordham defense starting to play better here in the red zone. It was a 1st and goal from the 7. And right now, we'll have a 3rd and goal from the 7 after this timeout. Yeah, this Fordham defense kind of came out looking like a deer in the headlights. They haven't seen a CAA team in a long time. Don't remember how high power that offense is. We saw Monmouth earlier this year. We saw Albany, who was also very good. Both teams with very good running backs as well. So coming into this one, a little shaky early here on, but I expect this team to bounce back. This is a very veteran group, and even the underclassmen play much older than they actually are. So both teams trotting back out onto the field for this 3rd and goal from the 7. It's Brosmer. He'll be in the gun. 3rd and goal. As now it looks like the Wildcats will huddle up. So 3rd and goal. They're looking to break the huddle now, and they face the Fordham defense, who's already set in their formation. Brosmer in the gun with the running back Seed to the left of the quarterback. Caleb Burke, wide receiver, in the backfield as well, as he's motioned into his position with Brosmer back to pass, throwing for the end zone. Touchdown, UNH. Sean Coyne, the senior from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, gets the touchdown. UNH goes up 13-0, 4:37 remaining in the first quarter.
And just a perfectly executed combo route on that one. Coyne splits off as the other wide receiver darts in, confusing the secondary of Fordham for an easy 6.
So now it's Nick Mazie on for the extra point. Brosmer will hold it after playing quarterback. Don't see that very often. The kick will come left to right with the wind. As the snap's down, kick is up, and it is good. 14-0, 4:37 remaining in this first quarter. And Danny, this is not the start that Fordham wanted.
No, this is absolutely not the start that Fordham wanted or that we thought we were going to get, especially after that first Fordham drive, driving all the way down inside their own 5-yard line, then coughing one up. But the one thing, as I mentioned earlier, this Fordham offense is never out of a game. They have the capability to score on every single play. So if you're Fordham, you're looking to come out here with a bang and make a statement on this next drive.
Now Fordham, as we said, went down a lot early in games, which is something that Coach Conlin talked about a few weeks ago, as it could be dangerous because you don't want to get too far down in games, even though you have such an explosive offense. But Tim DeMorat is probably the correct person for the job to come back from 14-0. Still plenty of time, 4:37 remaining in the first quarter. We've seen the Rams score like 3 touchdowns in about 3 minutes, so this game is certainly not even close to being over. With Nick Mazie getting set to kick this one away. Left to right with the wind. MJ Wright, Trey Sneed, Jack Kaiser back for Fordham as Mazie hits total leather and the kick is away. End over end with Wright receiving it at the 5 as he ranges towards those near side numbers. Squirts to around the 25, and that's where the Rams will set up shop with Tim DeMorat trotting back out onto the field. DeMorat 4 of 8, 25 yards so far in the game. Fotis Kokosoulas 3 catches, 17 yards. Trey Sneed had a big 45-yard run, but a fumble that really kind of set this UNH momentum in motion.
Yeah, it was definitely the difference maker, at least early on here. Look for Fordham, like I already mentioned, to come out firing on this drive to kind of try to retake that momentum that they had going into the first drive.
Something to note, Fordham is going against the wind to start, which will affect passes as DeMorat takes the head-high snap, surveys the field, unloading one deep for Kokosoulas. He has it inside the 35 of UNH, and a beautiful job by DeMorat to drop it in the bucket to Kokosoulas.
And that's exactly what you're looking for from the Rams offense. Big players make big plays in big situations, and there's no bigger player than Tim DeMorat and Fotis Kokosoulas for the Rams.
DeMorat right back in the gun, throws a screen pass to the far side. It's dropped by MJ Wright. It was Derek Thompson in coverage on that play. He was also in coverage against Kokosoulas, who burned him for that big play, but it'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and definitely some sun that MJ Wright is dealing with over there. Tim DeMorat in the shade, throwing it into the sun, makes it a tough catch for Wright.
May have been wise for him to drop it with Thompson right there in his grill. With DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation. Check that, 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end. In the slot to the far side, it's CCO. DeMorat takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed, who has a lot of room, bursting free as he gets to the 26, 1 yard short of a first down, and brings up a 3rd and short for the Rams.
And I like that they bring Sneed back into the game right there. Show your senior that you still have confidence in him running the football.
Ryan Toscano, the linebacker for UNH, was in on the stop. 3rd and 1 for Fordham. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Kokosoulas and Felton in the slots. It's Carter and Wright on the perimeter. DeMorat gets his play with Sneed to the right. UNH crowd getting loud as the senior quarterback claps to the head-high snap, surveying the field, throws short for Trey Sneed, breaking tackles for the first down inside the 25 to the 23, and the Rams convert on 3rd down and move the chains.
Fordham just a excellent way to get the first down. It looked like Sneed may have been able to find 6 on that one, but Max Tillett, the linebacker for UNH, able to track him down before he can get to that edge.
Tillett with a nice open field tackle. With Morat looking for his play from that far sideline of Fordham. He's in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Felton and Coco Sulis. As Morat claps to the head high snap, fakes the run, throws for Coco Sulis, screen pass down the far sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds by the UNH secondary member. It looked like Max Oxendine around there with Brendan Ty, and they'll bring up a 2nd and short.
Yeah, and MJ Wright laying a perfect block on number 24, Caleb Mead, to set Coco Sulis up to be able to get that game.
Morat in the gun on a 2nd and short. 3 receivers in the formation as Fordham looking for their play. Morat's in the gun. Sneed to his right. He takes the head high snap. Surveying the field, stepping up in the pocket, throwing for his tight end. Touchdown, Fordham! Jeff Ciccio makes a toe drag swag touchdown, and the Rams are back in the game. 14-6, 2:19 remaining in the first quarter.
And Ciccio, not a typical target, but definitely a big target for the Rams, standing at 6'5". He's one of the guys that you say, okay, go up and get it, and that's exactly what he does to bring Fordham back within 1 touchdown.
A nice job by Ciccio to get that foot down inbounds as well. With Brandon Peskin ready to kick the extra point to make this a 1-possession game, or a 7-point game, I should say. With Hazlitt the holder. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 14-7, 2:19 remaining in the first quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, Michael Calamari here, one of the beat reporters for this season's New York Knicks basketball team. Follow us all season on WFUV Sports, on our Twitter for game and player updates, and on our YouTube channel for a post-game recap following every home game. Also, keep an eye out for special reports on WFUVsports.org throughout the year. For all things New York Knicks basketball, follow WFUV Sports all season long.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. Fordham trailing UNH 14-7, 2:19 remaining in the first quarter. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. And Danny, that was the exact drive that Tim DeMorat and company needed.
That was the exact drive that this Rams offense needed. A perfectly executed pass to cap it off to Jeff Ciccio. Fordham right now feels like the momentum is starting to shift back to their side, especially after that drive, bringing them back within 1. But if we've learned anything from the first 2 UNH drives, is that they can score at will, seemingly too.
And this Fordham defense will be tasked to just get a stop. This game seems similar to how that Ohio game started. Ohio blitzed Fordham, went up 14-0, then the Rams started to creep back in the game, trading touchdowns, until the Rams got up by as much as 10 in that game in the fourth quarter before Ohio stormed back to win the game. And with this Fordham offense, and Danny, as much Fordham football we watch, we know that this game is definitely nowhere close to over, and there'll be many chess matches in this game. And the ensuing chess match will be between this UNH offense and the Fordham defense. And it seems like one thing UNH has done really well is moving Dylan Laube around in the slot, in the backfield, and a lot of different looks for this Fordham defense to account for.
Yeah, definitely moving him into some positions that we haven't seen so far this year, having him play out in the slot, catching a pass, having him do that jet sweep that he gained about 14 yards on as well. A very, very versatile player. He reminds me a little bit of like a Christian McCaffrey-esque player, the guy that can make the catch but also runs very, very well.
So Michael Bernard, senior from Clayton, Missouri, getting set to kick this one away into the wind, right to left towards the video board here at Wildcat Stadium. With the kick away to Laube, who will receive it at the 13. He cruises past the 20, 30, breaking free to around the 34, finally brought down by a few special teamers led by B.J. Ferguson. And that's where Max Brosmer and company will set up shop for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and a great return, and that's exactly why he is the third-team All-CAA kick returner. And this Fordham special teams, especially on the kick, has been shaky this year. So they need to really hone in on getting multiple hats to the football on kickoffs.
It's something that Michael Bernard seems like he's done a lot of high arcing kicks to get those Fordham special teamers down on the field. But Brosmer will set up shop. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. The run going up the gut to Lauby. He's bottled up. Stephen Williams doing a nice job coming up from his star position. Only a 1-yard gain, bringing up a 2nd and 9.
Yeah, and it also looked like the freshman Claudia Robinson was in there just stuffing the gap, not allowing him to make or to get anywhere on that one.
Brosmer will now huddle up with his offense. One of the few teams we've seen this year to huddle up, with Brosmer and this offense running a bit more of a pro-style offense for UNH. As a sophomore in the gun, it's Lauby to his left, or now we'll get option to the pistol. 3 receivers, with the tight end being optioned to the far side. With Brosmer back to pass, surveying the field, throwing deep to a wide open receiver. It's Harrison Morriso. Touchdown, UNH. The grad student from Bellport, New York, the UConn transfer, Heron Morriso. Wide open, easy touchdown, 123 remaining in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can get more wide open than Mariso was on that play. Definitely blown coverage there on the near sideline. It looked like Alex Kemper and BJ Ferguson took the same receiver, allowing Morriso to just sneak out for an easy 6 points.
So now Nick Mazie in to kick the extra point. Will be his 3rd one of the quarter. With Brosmer, the holder. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 21-7, UNH leads, 1:23 remaining in this first quarter, and Danny, the big plays continue for the Wildcats.
Yeah, if you're Fordham, you really need to limit these massive plays, dropping the fumble when you're on offense, allowing the 86-yard touchdown when you're on defense, allowing a wide receiver to be that wide open when you're on defense. Right now, not the only reason, but the main reason that UNH is up by 14 is because Fordham just keeps shooting themselves in the foot. They allow for these big plays to happen. They make mental mistakes. They make physical mistakes. And this is really helping UNH, a team that many people did not expect to win this game.
And UNH right now, this offense that is definitely very solid, averaging 28.6 points per game, but not as high-flying as Fordham. They're really showing their muscle early on in this game. Now Tim DeMorat will look to counter once again, with Mazie getting set to kick this one away. He'll kick it left to right with the wind. And he's trying to get it to stay up on the tee. It's MJ Wright, Trace Knee, Jack Kaiser back to receive for Fordham. Now the ball, sturdy on the tee, with Mazie getting set to kick this one away. Approaches the ball, puts toe to leather, end over end kick towards the end zone. It's through the end zone as it skips by MJ Wright, and a touchback for Mazie will set up Fordham at the 25.
Yeah, and if you're Fordham coming into this drive with only about a minute and a half left in this first quarter, you're just looking to take this down to the second quarter, kind of regroup, and come out firing at the start of the second quarter.
Tim DeMorat trots back out onto the field. He has now 54 touchdowns in 2022. That passes Jimmy Garoppolo for now 5th in the FBS or FCS history books. Garoppolo, quarterback at Eastern Illinois. Now the starter for the 49ers with DeMorat in the gun. Takes the waist-high snap, surveying the field, throws one deep for Coco Suez. It's intercepted! Brendan Tide, the redshirt freshman from Lowell, Massachusetts, makes the big pick at midfield. And UNH right now in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and that one, just not a great pass from DeMorat. It wasn't a tight throw. It definitely was a duck. Fotis had a stop, but throwing into the wind and not throwing a perfect spiral is a recipe for disaster, and that's exactly what happened as UNH picks that one off and gets that offense right back out on the field.
Smart was also hit as he threw, which helped that throw kind of be a bit of a duck near midfield. With Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation. He takes the head high snap. He unloads one deep down the near side. A wide open receiver with flags flying. Incomplete. Caleb Burke was the receiver wide open. And looked like Stephen Williams tripped. He was kind of hanging on for dear life on Burke. It will be pass interference on Fordham. And this game is going from bad to worse for the Rams.
Yeah, for Fordham, this is about as bad as a first quarter that we've seen all year for them. Really, really tough right now. Fordham needs to figure out a way to get a stop here, maybe force a turnover to get the ball back in the hands of the offense.
Brosmer in the pistol. 3 receivers, 2 to the far side, 1 near side receiver. It's Corcoran. The backfield's Lauby. He takes the run off the right tackle, and this time doesn't even get a yard. James Conway and Matt Jaworski was in on the stop.
Yeah, Conway coming up and filling. The linebackers for Fordham so good this year, both first-team All-Patriot League. However, this UNH offense has been running all over them so far.
So UNH huddled up with the crowd right now electrified from this great play by the Wildcats. 40 seconds in ticking on the first quarter clock. Rams down 14 with UNH driving in their territory. 2nd and 10 with Brosmer taking the snap and a false start by UNH. And that'll back them up 5 yards, 2nd and 15.
5-yard penalty is 2nd down.
So that penalty goes the Rams' way with a false start by UNH, and oh boy, did the Rams need that one.
Definitely much needed. Sets them up 2nd and long. You know they're probably going to be looking for the pass right here, so your pass rush, you can kind of set them up and get them to put pressure on Brosmer, something that we haven't seen here today.
The sophomore Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Lauby to the right of the quarterback. Brosmer takes the head-high snap, throws towards the near side, incomplete. B.J. Ferguson in coverage with Joey Corcoran that time reaching out his hands, but fell incomplete.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication on that one. I think that was a timing route, and Brosmer just got it out there a little bit too quick to force the incompletion for the Rams.
A 3rd and long at the Rams' 42. UNH has to get all the way down to the 26. With Brosmer in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Lauby, sidecar right to the quarterback. Brosmer takes the head-high snap. The screen will go to Lauby down the near side numbers. Greenhagen trying to track him down. He does at the 31, where Lauby stepped out of bounds. And now the 4th down will come up for UNH. We'll see if they go for it or try to kick the field goal.
Yeah, definitely decision time here. Do you go for it and really try to extend this lead? But we'll find out after the first quarter,
yes.
The first quarter break.
After 15 minutes, UNH right now dominating Fordham 21-7 after 15 minutes. Let's send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Will Talent. Will?
The one-on-one scoreboard.
We'll start things off with the first round of the FCS Football Playoffs. Furman and Elon are the first matchup of these playoffs as Furman currently leads 17-3 in the 4th quarter. Davidson and Richmond has Richmond out in front 10-0, with the winner moving on to play the number 2 seeded Sacramento State. Delaware welcomes the St. Francis Red Flash as the Blue Hens are up 14-0 with 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Later this afternoon, North Dakota and Weber State will square up at 4 o'clock. Eastern Kentucky will host the Big South Conference's finest Gardner-Webb with kickoff set for 5. Southeastern Louisiana and Idaho get set for their clash with kickoff scheduled for 7. Wrapping up the first round, Tilt, Montana, and Southeast Missouri State close out the night. 10:15 start time for that one. In the top 25 college football, number 2 Ohio State and number 3 Michigan has the Wolverines leading 24-20. And finally, down in Tuscaloosa, the Iron Ball kicks off at 3:30 as Auburn visits number 7 Alabama. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Will Talent.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York, listener-supported public media from Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York, on air, online, and always commercial-free.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium as the second quarter is about to start. UNH up 21-7 over Fordham as they have a 4th down incoming. And these two teams right now huddled up, and it'll be decision time for UNH to see if they want to go for it. It'll be about a 4th and 7. And the way this UNH team is playing, you kind of think they'd go for it, even though they are in field goal range, with just the way they've been able to move the ball.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that offense is out on the field right now, and especially switching sides, I think that definitely factors into the decision now kicking into the wind. We saw both these teams in warm-ups kicking into the wind, and it looked like a big struggle versus where you're driving on that time, kicking in or out of the wind helps them out a lot. So this UNH offense has been so dynamic, and it looks like they're going to be going out on the field, something that I don't blame them doing at all.
This is a huge 4th down early on in this game. A 14-point game after a Tim DeMorat interception really set up UNH with amazing field position to make this a 3-score game. Now this Fordham defense looking to stop them in their tracks at the 32. With Brosmer in the gun, 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end. With a receiver in motion, Laube sidecar right to Brosmer. He takes the waist-high snap, surveying the field, throws short for his tight end. It's incomplete. Kyle Lepkowski tried to make a diving catch, but James Conway doing a nice job in coverage, and the Rams take over.
Great play there from Conway, and Ryan Greenhagen kind of getting his hand in the eyes of Lepkowski on that one to force an incompletion. If you're Fordham coming out on this drive, it's do or die time right now. Get the momentum back on your side. You're down by 2 touchdowns. Come out and prove that you're one of the best teams in the nation.
An enormous stop for the Rams as DeMorat's in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. As DeMorat unloads one deep down the far sideline for Carter. He can't make the catch, and it's intercepted. Randall Harris has it, cruising past the 40, 45, finally goes out of bounds at the 50. Harris was all over Carter, but no flags called. And right back onto the field comes the UNH team. And Fordham was looking for the flags down that far sideline. When they didn't come, looked like they were flabbergasted.
Yeah, I'm still kind of speechless. I'm still looking for the flag myself. That looked like a blatant pass interference in my eyes. Bounces off Carter right into the hands of Harris to give UNH the ball back. I do not blame Tim DeMorat at all on that play. A tough break there for the Rams.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers with Laube in motion, the running back. He gets the run on the end around off the right tackle as he powers across midfield to the 48, and a nice about 4-yard run for Laube sets up a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Ryan Greenhagen looked like the one to bring him down on that play, and if Fordham wants to get back into this one, they're going to need their grad student linebacker to step up and make plays like what we saw at the end of the game last week against Colgate.
A 2nd and 6 now for UNH with Brosmer under center, Laube in the backfield. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side right. Receiver in motion's Morriso with play action pass by Brosmer, stepping up in the pocket, looking deep and just out of reach of Morriso. And there's Anthony Tony Itoya in coverage, and now 3rd and 6 upcoming.
Yeah, it looked like Corcoran and Morriso kind of got caught up on that play on a little cross route, just a little bit past Morriso on that one. If no contact, that looked like an easy 6 there for UNH.
A 3rd and medium for UNH at their 48 with Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation as Laube's to his right. Quarterback takes the waist-high snap, throws over the middle. He has an open receiver, DJ Lincoln's finally torn down at the 25 by B.J. Ferguson. But Max Brosmer, a quick decision, throwing it to Lincoln's and an easy 1st down.
Yeah, and Fordham brought a ton of pressure on that one, blitzing the entire front 7, and just an easy read for Brosmer to get that ball out quick.
Ball at the 25 with UNH huddling up. They break it with Brosmer in the pistol, Laube in the backfield, tight end in the backfield as well. It's Adam Deese. 2 receivers, both to the near side as Brosmer stares into the 4-3 defense of Fordham. The run goes off the left tackle by Lauby, looking for room as he's brought down by James Conway after only a gain of a yard.
And once again, this Fordham front seven is doing good against a rush, only allowing 34 yards here early. But the passing attack for UNH has been stellar. 250 yards and 3 touchdowns for Brosmer, not even halfway through the third quarter yet.
Brosmer just staying in the offense, making quick decisions. He's 10 of 15 as well, which is good for 67% completion. As sophomore quarterback is in the gun. Brosmer did not play in 2021, didn't play in 2020 either. So a 2-year break set him up for this season, and he had a good one. As he takes the waist-high snap. It's a keeper by Brosmer as he weaves through the Fordham defense, finally table-topped by B.J. Ferguson inside the 15. Looks like the quarterback has the first down, and that'll move the chains.
And this UNH offense, and Brosmer in particular, can do no wrong here today. That's his second first down run of the game. So Fordham needs to step up and make a play, or this game could get out of hand quick.
With Brosmer in the gun. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends in the formation. Lauby sidecar left to Brosmer, who's in the gun. Tight end in motions Deese. With the pass going to Deese, he has it, pulling off Fordham defenders to around the 5. Finally steps out of bounds with Droddy shoving him out, and now a 2nd and short coming up for UNH.
And Droddy got him out, but at a cost. Deese rocked Droddy on that one before he went out of bounds. Fordham is definitely getting out physical here early on.
So Brosmer huddled up right now. He's 11 of 16, 256, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's in the pistol. Lauby in the backfield. 3 receivers all to the far side. 1 tight end, strong side left. With Brosmer handing it off to Lauby, who has the corner. Touchdown UNH. Dylan Lauby, the junior from West Hampton, New York, puts UNH up 27-7, 11:31 remaining in the second quarter.
And UNH can just do no wrong here with about 12 minutes left in the second quarter. Everything seems to be working for him. Right now, Brosmer already better than he was a week ago, and Lauby adds his 2nd touchdown of the game.
With now Nick Mazie on for his 4th PAT of the day. The redshirt freshman now kicking into the wind. With the snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 28-7, UNH leads, 11:31 remaining in the second quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everybody, Sam Davis here. Check out WFUV Sports on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at WFUV Sports, and Instagram at WFUV_sports. There you can find all of our content from our beat reporters covering all the New York professional sports, as well as clips and full shows from One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. For everything WFUV Sports, follow us on our socials.
We're back on the campus of the University of New Hampshire. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. Fordham down 21, 28-7, 11:31 remaining in the second quarter. And right now, the floodgates are starting to open for UNH.
Yeah, it feels like Fordham just time after time is getting these tough breaks, a couple of picks, the fumble, allowing these big touchdown runs. Fordham needs to kind of tone it down. They came into this game with a lot of momentum. They need to get that momentum back in this one and calm down. It feels like everyone's trying to do too much, and they need to remember why this team is a playoff team and tone everything down a notch and just play their style of football.
The Fordham offense has been able to move the ball, but turnovers have just plagued them, basically almost every drive. 3 out of 5 drives so far. 3 turnovers for them. 2 interceptions by Tim Demore, a fumble by Trey Sneed in the red zone. And right now this offense needs to score a touchdown. And when you look at the Fordham defense, they haven't done much to stop UNH. They did it only one time on the day, and then the next ensuing throw by DeMorat was an interception.
Yeah, if you would have told me before this game started that UNH would have 28 points this early in the second quarter, I wouldn't be shocked. But if you would have told me that Fordham only had 7, that would be a completely different story. But that's the reality that we're at right now. Fordham needs to figure it out and definitely accumulate some points on this drive.
Nick Mazie will kick it right to left for UNH towards the video board here at Wildcat Stadium. He approaches the ball, puts toe to the leather, and the kick is away. MJ Wright makes the catch at the 20, fumbled it, picked it back up, and he's down at the 18. So not a good special teams play by MJ Wright, but nonetheless, Tim DeMorat will jog back out onto the field at this drive starting at the 18.
Yeah, not exactly sure what else could go wrong for the Rams in this one. It's been a tough sight to watch, but Fordham needs to get points on this drive.
Now, they do have the guy for the job, Tim DeMorat, 54 passing touchdowns on the season. He's in the gun with 3 receivers, 1 tight end. Strong side left, it's CCO. DeMorat takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut by Sneed, looking for some room, and he's bottled up, maybe gets a yard or 2. A nice job by Josiah Silver, the defensive end, who made the stop.
And this is something that I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, but Fordham is losing the battle up front. The UNH offensive line is doing a great job against the Fordham defense, and the defensive line for UNH is doing a great job against the Fordham offense.
DeMorat in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, who is optioned out down the far side boundary, Jeff Cicio. With Trey Sneed to the left of the quarterback, DeMorat. The senior takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed, and he's bottled up, diving forward for just a few yards to the 25. And Max Oxendine came up from a safety position to make the tackle. Brings up in a 3rd and medium.
Yeah, it looked like Sneed was dead to rights on that play, able to kind of do a little sidestep and pick up a couple.
DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Coco Soulis and Felon in the slots as DeMorat looks for his play call down the far sideline. It's Sneed to the left of DeMorat as well, with Coco Soulis in motion. DeMorat throws down the near numbers for Coco Soulis. He has the first down as he gets to around the 35. A nice job by Coco Soulis to get open for the first down.
Yeah, and Fordham going back to what they did in that first drive, just picking up chunk yards, the little out route to Coco Soulis, a good 3-4 yards every rush by Trey Sneed, exactly what this Fordham offense needs to do to get back into this one.
DeMorat takes the waist-high snap, will now run for it down the near side numbers, takes a hit at around the 37. Nice job by Noah Palm, the sophomore who made the tackle on the quarterback, brings up a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, Tim DeMorat, a very tough guy, though. Even though he took a little bit of a shot, he's jumping right back up to get back there in the backfield.
DeMorat in the gun. It's Luffridge to the left of the quarterback. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Felton and Coco Soulis in the slots. Carter and Wright on the boundaries. With DeMorat looking for his play down the far sideline. And now staring into the 4-3 defense of UNH. With DeMorat taking the head-high snap, fakes the run, throws over the middle for Felton. He has it right at midfield for a first down for Fordham. Max Oxendine, the junior, made the stop, but a nice throw and catch from DeMorat to Felton.
And that looks like the Fordham offense we know. They've been doing so many just go routes, getting away from the sit routes that have been so successful all year.
DeMorat takes the snap, unloads one deep for Carter. He has it. Walk-in touchdown for Fordham. DeMorat to Carter gets the Rams back in this game. 28-13, 8:56 remaining in the second quarter.
And DeKeith Carter, such a weapon on the outside. That's the guy that you want to go to if you're doing these deep balls. It's been Coco Soulis, it's been MJ, but DeKeith's able, with that breakaway speed, to get out over the top to get Fordham closer to getting back into this game.
28-13, 8:56 remaining in the second quarter. Brandon Peskin on for the extra point, the Syracuse transfer. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 28-14, 8:56 remaining in this second quarter. And Danny, Fordham gets a huge touchdown, which is exactly what they needed, but now they need another stop on defense desperately.
Yeah, definitely a big momentum boost to get that touchdown by DeKeith Carter, but Fordham defensively needs to come out and make a stop. It's almost been the Fordham offense has been scoring too much too quickly all year. Today, they've been getting off the field so quickly because of the turnovers. But a decent drive, took off about 4 or 5 minutes off the clock on that one to give this defense a break to come out and hopefully make a stop on this drive.
DeMorat now 11 of 18, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's completing 61% of his passes, and that touchdown was a 51-yarder, and it was a bomb from DeMorat to Carter, and Carter doing a nice job getting the positioning, and he was open. A perfect throw by DeMorat as well, right in stride.
Yeah, a little bit different from that first quarter. Now throwing with the wind, same thing that we talked about with the kick, allows for a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about the football going in weird directions when you're throwing into the wind. But a perfect pitch and catch to Keith Carter, who has been such a big game player all year long. Last week, in his final regular season game, 14 receptions, 208 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So with that first catch, he's picking up right where he left off a week ago.
Moving over to the UNH side, Max Brosmer, 11 of 16, 256 and 3 touchdowns. Really a perfect game from the sophomore from Georgia. And he's a guy that came to UNH in 2019, but still has 2 more years of eligibility after this one.
Yeah, the COVID year, and I believe he took a redshirt year as well.
Injured last season.
Injury redshirt, that's what it was. So definitely a guy that is very, very good. 6'2", 214 pounds, a big body back there at quarterback, and runs the ball fairly well as well. So he's a guy that definitely is able to make plays for this UNH offense.
He's been spreading it all around, and 8 different receivers he's hit so far in this game. We've only played a quarter and a half. With Michael Bernard has the ball on the tee. And getting set to kick this one away. Checks if everyone's on sides. Raises his left hand in the air. Puts toe to leather, and the kick is away. End over end towards Dylan Lauby, who makes the catch at the 1. He cruises past the 10, 15. A lot of speed from Lauby as he's raced out of bounds at the 25. And that's where Max Brosmer will set up shop.
And Fordham very fortunate that he only got to about the 25, 26 yard line on that one. He had a full head of steam, and if he got past Bernard on that one, it was going to be an easy 6.
UNH up 14, 28-14, 8:51 remaining in the second quarter. With Brosmer in the gun to start off this drive. Now he options his running back into the pistol formation. Lauby, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. As Brosmer takes the head high snap. The run goes off the right tackle to Lauby. He has a few out to the 30, and James Conway the one to bring him down with Ryan Greenhagen.
And UNH is going to look to get to that edge. Lauby, a fairly large running back, but not exactly huge at 5'10", 204 pounds. More of a speed guy to look to get off that edge and show his breakaway speed that we've already seen a couple times here today.
2nd and 6 for UNH. It's Brosmer under center, and the running back, Thomason, in the backfield. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Lauby in motion with the run going off the right tackle by Thomason. He has a lot of space. Breakaway as he passes the 40. It's a foot race. 30, 25, 20. Finally brought down at around the 15. And the big plays keep on coming for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Ryan Greenhagen with a touchdown, saving tackle on that play. But if we've learned anything thus far, it almost doesn't matter because it feels like this UNH offense is just unstoppable.
Miles Thomason, the 3rd running back for UNH, the freshman from Montclair, New Jersey. With Brosmer in the gun, 2 running backs in the backfield along with him. It's Lauby and Thomason, 2 receivers, 1 tight end. With the run up the gut by Lauby, he's torn down by a few Rams over on that defensive line. James Conway there as well.
Yeah, Thomason coming into this game had 19 attempts for just 44 yards. That one rush right there, 1 attempt, 51 yards, so better than his entire season on that 1 rush.
Thomason, a lot of speed and burst through that wide open hole up the gut for UNH. As they have the ball in the Fordham red zone, at the 19. Be 2nd and 10 with Brosmer in the gun. 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and 2 running backs as well. With the run going to Thomason, the ball is loose. We'll see who picks it up, and it's Thomason who recovers. Looked like a bit of a trick play with Brosmer trying to hand the ball off to Thomason behind his back, but it did not work out, and a big loss for UNH.
Yeah, kind of a little rendition of the Statue of Liberty play on that one. Doesn't work out. Ball falls to the ground, but 3rd down, looks like an injured Ram on this one.
As it's like one of their defensive line members, but as the trainers from Fordham tend to the injured Ram defensive lineman, we'll take a quick break. UNH up 28-14, 6:28 remaining in the 2nd quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Michael Calamari, reminding you to tune into New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch all the breaking sports news, hot takes, inside scoops from our beat reporters, and interviews with people around the world of sports. One on One airs every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on YouTube Live, and once again at night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. on 90.7 FM. Want more One on One? Catch our Wednesday edition of the show, One on One nightly from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Twitter and YouTube Live. Join the conversation and tune in to One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
Back at Wildcat Stadium, Fordham down 14, 28-14, 6:28 remaining in the 2nd quarter. The injured Ram was Anthony Itoya, who was able to walk under his own power towards the far sideline. And now it's Brosmer on a 3rd and 15 after a fumbled snap, or fumbled handoff. He's in the gun, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side right, with Lauby to the right of the quarterback as well. With Brosmer unloading one for the end zone, incomplete. Stephen Williams breaking it up from the tight end Kyle Lepkowski, the junior, and a 4th and 15 coming up, and we'll see what UNH will do. And looks like the field goal kicker, Nick Mazie, will come on out.
And this is not a gimme. It does look like the wind has died down quite a bit since the beginning of the game, but definitely will still be a factor on this kick.
A 40-yarder from Mazie, the redshirt freshman from Boxford, Massachusetts. With the holder is Brosmer, the quarterback from Roswell, Georgia. Snap down, kick is up, it's blocked by Fordham with the ball now squirting towards the end zone, and a huge stop for the Rams. They needed it big. Not sure who got their hands on it, but it was clearly blocked by that Ram defensive line, and now you see that sideline starting to get pumped up.
And I'll tell you exactly who got their hands on it. The freshman Alex Kemper flying off the edge to make that huge block. Fordham with a big momentum boost right there. The offense coming back out to try to get this back to a 1-score game.
Before Tim DeMorat trots back out onto the field, we will take a quick break. UNH up 28-14 with Fordham getting the ball back. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's going on, everyone? This is Danny Scott, your New York Jets beat reporter. Join me all season long for updates, features, and analysis as the Jets' young core looks to take flight. Follow me on Twitter, dscott_33, or check out our WFUV Sports YouTube page for all things Jets.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. UNH up 28-14 over Fordham, but a massive field goal block by Fordham. The freshman Alex Kemper, the one to get his hands on it off the edge for the Rams, and that's something Fordham desperately needed down 14, and now Tim Zamora and that lethal Fordham offense will come back out onto the field.
Yeah, the special teams unit stepping up in a big way, as well as the defense to force that field goal attempt. I told you that before, that was not a gimme field goal, but it became an absolute nothing field goal because of Alex Kemper.
Tim Zamora, the senior, jogging back out onto the field. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the formation, with 2 receivers stacked to the near side. Trace Sneed, sidecar right to Tim Zamora. Zamora staring into the 4-3 defense of UNH as the quarterback takes the head-high snap. The run goes off the right tackle by Sneed, and he goes nowhere. Josiah Silver, the sophomore from Hampton, Virginia, doing a nice job to shed a few blocks and get in the backfield.
Yeah, the team leader in tackles for loss this year picks up another one right there. Silver has been so dominant all year long.
So 2nd and long for Fordham. Be about 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14 with Zamora in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the slot down towards the far side. It's Jeff Ciccio. Demorat looks for his play in the gun. Sneed is to his right with Coco Soulis in the near side slot. As Demorat claps to the snap, throws for MJ Wright down the near sideline. He's fighting for extra yards down that sideline. Knocked out of bounds at the 30, and now it'll be a 3rd and short for the Rams.
Yeah, and a little extracurriculars going on there between Wright and Randall Harris after that catch. Looks like this game may start to get a little chippy.
Demorat in the gun on a 3rd and 3. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Demorat takes a snap. The screen goes to Coco Soulis. It falls incomplete as the wide receiver bumped into one of his blockers, and 4th down will come up, and we'll see what the call will be for Fordham. And it's the punt unit coming back out onto the field, and all that momentum Fordham seemingly had after a blocked field goal will go right back to UNH after that 3 and out.
Yeah, just a brutal play there as Coco Soulis runs in to the now right guard Lucas Portes, who was playing left guard all year, so maybe a little confusion on what to do on that play.
Will has it, will punt it away. End over end kick towards Lauby, who catches it at the 17 and looking to make a move, but he cannot. The long snapper, Tom Callahan, rushes right down the field, containing Lauby, and an amazing hustle play from the long snapper.
Yeah, that's a play that I love to see as a former long snapper myself, getting down the field and making a play on that one, allowing B.J. Ferguson to come in and kind of clean it up, but a beautiful play there from Tom Callahan.
Callahan, the senior. Now Brosmer will set up shop at the 17. The Rams do a nice job to flip the field position nonetheless, with 2 receivers, 2 tight ends in the formation. Brosmer back to pass, throwing a curl route to his receiver. It skips in, incomplete. He was looking for Heron Morisel, but a 2nd and 10 incoming.
Yeah, Alex Kemper in coverage on that one. Definitely playing with a lot of confidence, and that's very good for the freshman cornerback, especially after that blocked field goal right there. Great coverage from him on the outside.
2nd and 10 for UNH as Max Brosmer breaks the huddle. He's in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side right. Sidecar left is the running back, Dylan Lauby. As Brosmer puts a receiver in motion. The run goes up the gut to Lauby as he slithers forward to the 24 with a few Rams in on the stop. And he'll bring up a 3rd down and about 4.
And Lauby just hit that hole so hard it looked like it was going to be only a gain of a couple. Instead, turns into a gain of about 7 just from the pure power of him hitting the hole on that one.
3rd and about 3.5, 4. With Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the slot towards the far side. It's Lauby, sidecar right to the quarterback Brosmer. Brosmer staring into the 4-3 defense of Fordham as he claps to the head-high snap, steps up in the pocket, surveys the field, throws for Lauby, one-handed grab for the 1st down. Dylan Lauby, the star running back, makes a play with his hands and picks up a 1st down.
Yeah, the star running back that's playing like a #1 receiver here today. That was his 4th catch. Puts him up over 125 yards to go along with that 87-yard touchdown.
1st down and 10 now for UNH. They're up 14, 3:47 and ticking remaining in the 1st half. With Brosmer in the pistol. 3 receivers all to the near side, 1 tight end, strong side right. As Brosmer puts a receiver in motion with the run going off the left tackle to Lauby as he slithers forward for maybe 1 or 2. And a nice job by the Rams getting a lot of hats to the running back, and it brings up a 2nd and 8.
And something that UNH is doing very well today is throwing in a lot of different shifts and motions to try to confuse the Rams defense. That time, Thomason runs out, forces one of the linebackers to go with him to clear another guy out of the box. It didn't matter on that play, but on the previous play, it worked beautifully to get Lauby out in space to pick up the first down.
Brosmer's in the gun. 3 receivers all to the near side, 1 tight end as Brosmer takes the head-high snap. Surveying the field, Fordham bringing blitz. He unloads one deep for a receiver. It's incomplete, and now flags fly. And they're going to call pass interference on Alex Kemper. And this Fordham sideline just cannot believe it, especially after DeKeith Carter was held on his interception. Looked like there was a lot more contact on that play than there was there.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that call. It looked like that ball was just underthrown, in my opinion. Sure, the receiver could have been trying to come back and make a play on the ball, but Kemper had his head in the right spot. Looked like his hands were not fully on him. Just a tough break there for Fordham.
Aaron Morriso is the intended receiver as Brosmer is back in the pistol. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Strong side right with the receiver in motion is Morriso. Brosmer takes the head-high snap. Run goes up the gut to Lauby, and he's torn down by Alfonso Dixon. Got in there, and a nice job by the Rams. They're doing a pretty good job in the run game on Lauby, just maybe not through the pass.
Yeah, definitely stopping this UNH run game as best that they can. Looks like Fordham's going to take a timeout to figure out what's going on.
Joe Conlin was rushing out on the field as he wants to stop the clock and maybe get a quick score out of this. 2:24 remaining in the second quarter. UNH up 28-14.
Make sure to stay tuned for the one-on-one halftime show with Will Talent. Will will be joined by Mike Calamari. They will recap all the action from the first half and give a second half preview. All that and more here on 90.7 and YouTube Live.
That's Danny Scott. I'm Andrew Gullotta here from Wildcat Stadium. Just an up and down first 2 quarters for the Rams. Leads them down 14. And right now they would love a quick stop as the ball is placed at the 44 of UNH. Coach Conlin for Fordham called a timeout. He was rushing out onto the field trying to get a referee to grant him that timeout. They finally did with that 2:41 remaining, and now Fordham would love a stop and a quick score as, before half.
Yeah, Fordham definitely feels like they're getting hosed on some penalties, a couple pass interferences, and a couple of no calls from UNH that really kind of set them up to get to this big lead. But Fordham, their offense is still so good. They just need the defense to step up and make a stop here before we get into the half.
These referees are from the Big Sky as they're neutral referees for the playoff. UNH out of the CAA, Fordham out of the Patriot League. And UNH was doubted by a lot of people just because their strength of schedule, but they've came out and shown that CAA muscle. And for Fordham, they've been able to strike back a bit, but still down 14, they need to stop.
Yeah, Fordham definitely needs a stop on this one. 2nd down and 10. The UNH offense has the luxury of being able to run pretty much anything from this down and distance. However, if you're able to get a stop, if they go to the pass, 3rd and 10, you're sending your front 7 and dropping back everyone else to keep them in front of that first down stick.
Coach Conlin talking with the referees, very animated near midfield, was talking to a few referees. Something to note on the Fordham sideline, Jonathan Coste is not suited in this game. He was shown on the Jumbotron as just wearing his jersey with a sweatshirt. So the Rams are without one of their best defensive linemen today. You've seen a lot, and we'll continue to see Claudie Robinson in that role.
Yeah, Coste, the first team All-Patriot League, but Claudie Robinson has filled in nicely many times this year to go along with the other freshman, number 99, Sam Burkle.
So Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Lauby to the right of the quarterback. Brosmer takes the waist-high snap, throws over the middle, and a nice catch by Sean Coyne. Head-high grab, leaping into the air right over Stephen Williams. And Coyne is close to a first down. It's going to be third and very short, about maybe a half yard or 1 yard.
Yeah, and Coyne hit the ground hard on that one. Williams looked like a wrestling move on that one, kind of slamming him to the turf, but brings up third and short here for UNH.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, all on the far side. The tight end Deese in the slot with Lauby to the right of the quarterback. As Brosmer takes the head-high snap, fakes the run, and the pass is knocked down. Ryan Greenhagen got his hand on it, and now a 4th and short coming up with 1:49 remaining in the second quarter. And now decision time if you're UNH. Do you want to pin Fordham down and try to bring this game into halftime, or do you want to go for it? And looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, it looks like there's no thought behind this one. Just pick up that first down with Dylan Lauby. Should be an easy amount of yardage to pick up for the Wildcats offense.
4th and 1. Brosmer in the gun. Lauby to his left. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. As Brosmer has a receiver in motion with the run, fake, thrown to his tight end, incomplete. Rams get a huge stop with the incompletion to Kyle Lepkowski, and Natati Drotti fighting that ball away from the big tight end.
Yeah, Natati Drotti, a beautiful play. I'm very perplexed as to why UNH did not run the ball. Throwback to that 2013 Super Bowl, just hand the ball to the best player in the game, and that's been Dylan Lauby all game long. Just run the ball, pick up the first down. However, for Fordham, they will absolutely take that, getting Tim DeMorat the ball back.
DeMorat raced back onto the field, I think the quickest I've seen all season, as he gets his play call from the far sideline. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Snead to the left of the quarterback. Snead gets it off the right tackle, barely gets back to the line of scrimmage with flags flying. And usually with a run going off the edge, it's usually holding.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it was holding.
Holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty.
The guilty party for Fordham is Nolan Iloia. And now the Rams will set up on a 1st and 20. They have the ball at the 37. And they have to get it all the way into UNH territory at the 43. So 1st and 20, 137 and ticking remaining in the first half. DeMorat empty set, 5 wide receivers, 2 on the near side, 1 far side, or 3 far side receivers. As DeMorat sets up the screen to Coco Sewells, who has it in space. He cruises past the 40, pinballs to the 45, and almost gets all the penalty yardage back, and brings up a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, I trust the Fordham offense in this kind of 2-minute drill to go down and find at least 3 points.
DeMorat right back in the gun, takes the waist-high snap, unloads one deep for MJ Wright, coming back to the ball. He makes the catch! 10-5, touchdown Fordham! Tim DeMorat to MJ Wright, and the Rams are only down 8. 28-20, 1 minute remaining in the first half.
And what a circus catch there from MJ Wright. One of the best catches that we've seen from any Ram this year. Comes back to the ball and mosses the defender to bring it in for 6 points to get Fordham back within 1 score.
Brandon Peskin is on for the extra point. Will Haslett the holder. This kick will go with the wind, left to right. And Fordham will try to make this game 7 points with 1 minute remaining in the half. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. There is a flag down on the play. It looks like a UNH Wildcat jumped off sides, but we'll see what the call is from a referee.
Result of try is good. Offside. Defense, number 1 was in neutral zone snap. That penalty applied.
So the penalty is declined by Fordham, and now the Rams only down 7 with 1 minute remaining in the first half. And Danny, that MJ Wright catch was one of the best we've seen all season. I think he may be a little upset that he didn't get first team All-Patriot League.
Yeah, definitely. That was one of the questions that we asked Coach Conlin, do you feel like MJ Wright got robbed? And he obviously had to give his coach speak, saying that he said he was very deserving of first team, but you could kind of tell that he did feel like MJ Wright was one of the best receivers in this league, and he shows it right there.
And MJ Wright, the senior from Freehold, New Jersey. A big catch from him puts the Rams within 7. Now, there is a minute left in this game. So, check that half. And this half is definitely not over, especially the way UNH has been able to move the ball. With Michael Bernard getting set to kick this one away, left to right in the wind. And the ball falls off the tee, which happened once to Nick Mazie, the kicker for UNH.
I would be interested to see if Fordham went to that kind of sky kick down to this near side. It looks like there's a little bit of a Bermuda Triangle down there to try to get the ball back before the half to try to tie it up.
So Michael Bernard getting set to kick this one away. Left arm goes in the air. With the kick end over end away towards Dylan Lauby at the 7. He has it as he cruises past the 15, and he's brought down. B.J. Ferguson using all that speed to get right to Lauby, and not the best field position to start off for UNH with 55 seconds remaining in the first half.
What a play there from Ferguson, and it looks like the kicker, Mike Bernard, is kind of limping off the sideline. Definitely something to keep our eye on heading into halftime.
Bernard handles the kickoff duties for Fordham, the senior from Clayton, Missouri. With Brosmer right back in the gun, 55 seconds remaining. Lauby to the right of the quarterback, 4 receivers in the formation. As Brosmer claps to the waist-high snap, surveys the field, throws a curl route, incomplete to Huron Moriso. This crowd wants the flag. They won't get one, and Alex Kemper was like, how can you call a flag on that play? And it brings up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I would say almost a makeup call for the last one, but Kemper, that just was good defense on that play. But from what we've seen so far, I was a little shocked that there wasn't a yellow flag on that one.
Brosmer takes the snap. It's a QB keeper as he has it towards the 20, trying to find the edge, and he just can and gets out of bounds, which is huge, with 44 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And now a 3rd and around 7 for UNH, and if Fordham could get a stop here, 44 seconds is plenty of time for Tim DeMorat.
Yeah, and still 2 timeouts, so definitely if UNH does not pick up the first down, expect Fordham to call a timeout to try to tie this game up before the half.
Brosmer in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation. He takes the waist-high snap, stepping up, throwing over the middle. He has his tight end complete inside, or to the 40, right around that 40. It was Lepkowski with the catch, and Tony Itoya, who's back onto the field after he was down earlier on the coverage.
Yeah, Tony Itoya going for the strip there. A little interesting decision to not try to get him down in the field of play.
Brosmer takes the waist-high snap, throws over the middle. It's over the head of his tight end, incomplete. Looks like the same play they ran earlier on that last play, but brings up a 2nd and 10, 34 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Peter Chalhoub on that one rocked Brosmer in the backfield, kind of making that throw go a little errant.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, who's in the slot down near the far side. It's Lauby, sidecar left to the quarterback Brosmer, who stares into the 4-3 defense of Fordham. Brosmer takes the waist-high snap, steps up, throwing deep, looking for Moriso, incomplete with Alex Kemper in coverage, and it brings up a 3rd and 10 with 28 seconds.
Yeah, and Alex Kemper playing so well here today. That one, to me, looked like it could have been a pass interference. He didn't get his head turned back around, and that ball hit him in the back of the head. However, a good no call, just good defense.
A 3rd and 10 at the 38 of UNH. They have to get to the 48. With Brosmer in the gun, 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the formation. With the run going up the gut to Lauby. He'll be short of a first down at the 44. Timeout called by Joe Conlin with 22 seconds remaining in the first half. And we'll see what UNH tries to do. It seems like the punt unit will come on.
30 seconds.
And that probably won't be enough time for the Rams. It'll probably be enough time for them to at least take a shot, though.
Yeah, definitely. With still 1 timeout left, and how well these out routes have been working for the Rams today, they can still use the middle of the field, so that opens up a lot for the Fordham offense. Definitely, I think enough time to at least attempt to get into field goal range, especially with the wind on your side. It'll add about another 5 yards to your kick, so that is definitely good news for Fordham, and it definitely looks like the UNH punt team is coming out right now.
So the punter, Shane Lahan, is coming out for the first time. Or check that, Sean Lahan, sophomore from Milford, Massachusetts. It's MJ right back to receive with 21 seconds remaining. Slahan, the sophomore, is now lining up, shifting his offensive lineman over with the kick away. It's a booming one. As Wright makes the catch at the 24. So with 15 seconds remaining, Tim DeMorat will come back out onto the field with one timeout. 15 seconds probably is not enough time to score for the Rams, but who am I to say?
Yeah, you never know with this Fordham offense. Looks like they're going to be coming out in that 4 wide receiver set that we've seen so much this year. And it doesn't look like UNH is really playing that much over the top with safety help. So interesting here to see what Fordham does.
DeMorat in the gun, takes the head-high snap. They just run it up the gut to Sneed as he gets past the 25 to the 26. And the Rams will let this clock go down to the end of the first half. UNH up on Fordham 28-21 as we head to halftime. Let's send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Will Talent.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Wow. What a first half of football. Definitely not the ending that looked like we were going to have after the first quarter, but Fordham doing what Fordham has done best all season long, and that's stay in the ballgame and stay competitive. Hi, everyone, and welcome into our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report. I'm Will Talent. Glad to be with you this afternoon. It was all New Hampshire in the first quarter, but Fordham, they looked like the team we've watched all season long, like I just said, in the second, and they kept this one well within reach. In Fordham's first FCS playoff appearance since 2015, let's jump right into the first half highlights. Trey Sneed set up the Fordham offense nicely, putting them in the red zone after this 45-yard run.
DeMorat claps to the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed again, who has a huge hole. Hits the far side numbers, a lot of green grass. 20, 15, 10, inside the 10. Finally brought down by Max Oxendine. But Trey Sneed with a big home run.
Sneed would cough the ball up and fumble inside the 10-yard line, sparking a big offensive drive for UNH, notching the first score of the game. Dylan Lobby would secure the 87-yard touchdown reception, the longest yardage from any receiver in this game, to give the Wildcats a quick 14-0 lead.
Brosmer back to pass, throwing for the end zone. Touchdown, UNH. Sean Coyne, the senior from Portsmouth, Rhode Island, gets the touchdown. UNH goes up 13-0, 4:37 remaining in the first quarter.
Fordham would answer with a touchdown of their own as Tim DeMorat found Jeff Sissio for the 16-yard score.
Takes the head-high snap, surveying the field, stepping up in the pocket, throwing for his tight end. Touchdown, Fordham! Jeff Sissio makes a toe drag swag touchdown, and the Rams are back in the game. 14-6, 2:19 remaining in the first quarter.
Quarterback Max Brosmer would counter once again, launching his third touchdown pass of the half, and this one a 65-yard long shot.
Wide open receiver. It's Harrison Morriso. Touchdown, UNH.
Got a massive fourth down stop, but DeMorat couldn't come through as the first pass of the drive was intercepted by Randall Harris, then led to yet another touchdown for UNH to make it 28-7.
DeMorat takes the snap, unloads one deep for Carter. He has it. Walk-in touchdown for Fordham. DeMorat to Carter gets the Rams back in this game. 28-13, 8:56 remaining in the second quarter.
DeKeese Carter on the 51-yard score, cutting the Rams' deficit in half. Fordham would step up big time once again in the second quarter, blocking a 40-yard field goal attempt to keep the score 28-14.
Snap down, kick is up. It's blocked by Fordham with the ball now squirting towards the end zone, and a huge stop for the Rams. They needed it big.
After a big 4th and inches stop, DeMorat puts the exclamation point on the half as he found MJ Wright for the clutch 55-yard touchdown.
DeMorat right back in the gun, takes the waist-high snap, unloads one deep for MJ Wright, coming back to the ball. He makes the catch. 10-5, touchdown Fordham. Tim DeMorat to MJ Wright, and the Rams are only down 8. 28-20, 1 minute remaining in the first half.
And
So 28-21, your score at halftime. Definitely really not the score that you could have predicted after that first quarter of play. It was all UNH the entire first quarter. Trey Sneed, he was adding to his 800-plus yard rushing season with that monster 45-yard run, and it got the Rams all the way down to inside the 10 on their first offensive drive. It was scripted perfectly, if you ask me. That's exactly what you need if you're Coach Joe Conlin. But then the back fumbles the ball around the 5, like we heard just before, and UNH, they were very quick to answer, something that we haven't seen at all this year with the Rams. Obviously, the offense much stronger than the defense, but this offense, they get into the red zone, they score. They know how to score, and in this play, they got there and they coughed it up, and it was a quick turnaround, and their backs were against the wall. They're in the trenches already, but they found a way to dig it out. They found a way to dig it out after that fumble. The defense, they had no answer whatsoever in the first quarter. Max Brosmer, he threw all of his 3 touchdowns between the first quarter and the 11:31 mark in the second. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike, my co-host for this halftime show.
I'm doing a little bit of both. I'm doing some producing. I'm doing some work as a B host for you. But I can't wait to talk about this game. It seemed like Fordham was out of it. There was a time when it really felt like they were out of it. And when you drive down the field, have a huge rushing attempt by Trey Sneed, brings you within the 5, it feels like you have to score in that situation. And it felt like they had to. They cough it up. UNH drives back down the field, and they score the big touchdown. And that really was a gut-wrenching moment. And then it kept on kind of piling on after that, and you kept on looking back at that moment. Oh, man, that was so close to getting out to the lead. And then another one, the 4th down stop, the interception by Tim DeMoor out the other way, another moment where you're like, yeah, that didn't go Fordham's way. But they get the block, they get some more things their way. UNH tries to go for it on 4th and inches, and they have a passing play from the gun. I mean, a head-scratching moment there. So you look at all that, there was some bad luck that went Fordham's way, but they also had a lot of good luck. And they're back in this game down a touchdown. You can't think of a better place to be if you're Fordham, considering all that went your way. You turn over the ball 3 times, and you're Fordham knowing your defense. You look at a 28-21 score, I think you have to be happy. And I think that's what the conclusion is after this first half.
Yeah, and those turnovers, Mike, so demoralizing. And it's not even the turnover itself, it's what happened. You throw an interception, a 65-yard reception for a touchdown. Before that, you turn the ball over with the fumble from Sneed, an 87-yard reception that led to a touchdown right after. So not only did they score, but UNH did not have the best field positioning, and Fordham's defense had a chance to, switch the tide a little bit, swing it, but Max Brosmer just uncorked these magnificent throws and really piled it on for UNH, but you really got to give some credit to Tim DeMorat and his offense. He only had 4 receptions combined between DeKeith Carter and MJ Wright, 2 of his big 3. They had 3 receivers this year with over 1,000 receiving yards. That's very, very impressive stuff. Obviously, Tim with almost 5,000 passing yards himself, but only 125 yards between Carter and Rice. 4 for 6, though, on 3rd down conversions. Now, Mike, this was definitely not DeMorat's best half of the season. But to me,
it's like I feel like this is every time we talk about Tim DeMorat. It's like, he didn't play as good as he could have, but he has 239 yards and 3 touchdowns at halftime.
Yeah.
He's doing his job, in my opinion. Yeah, 2 bad interceptions, one where he underthrows and a great pickoff pass, and then the other jump ball, which was batted around, and UNH comes down with it. That one you can't really be mad at him. And listen, you're supposed to be able to turn over the ball. When he's airing it out, he's 14 for 22, over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's enough. The defense has even done enough. It's really that one red zone fumble that you're going to look back on, and you're going to say, if we don't turn it over there, maybe something changes in this one. But the good thing about it is that was the first big moment in this game. Imagine that was the 4th quarter. You're driving down, you get inside the 5, you fumble it. You'd rather have all the time in the game to make up for it now than it happened later in the game. You had some mistakes in the first half. get inside the halftime locker room, you say to yourselves, look at everything we did bad. We're down by a touchdown. And you have to be confident looking at that. You haven't played the best brand of football you can, and I think the Wildcats might have been playing some pretty good football. And if you're Fordham, you're adjusting to the great opponent that UNH is 8-3 on the season. You just played a lot of Patriot League opponents to end the year. You're adjusting, and you're only down a touchdown. There's got to be a huge level of confidence you have right now.
Yeah, the locker room definitely it should be in high spirits, especially like you said, Mike, with how it went. But as I was saying before, not his best game, but something that he, obviously you read off the stats. That's an incredible first half, but it's something that he's done all season long, and that's keep these Rams in the game. Every single game that they've played, whether they've won or lost, they've been in it. They've been in it the whole entire time. They were down 28-7.
And that's what he does. And that's what you have when someone sets the FCS record for touchdowns in a regular season. That's what he does. He has to be the guy to keep you in the game. He has to be that steady cog in the offense, and he is. And credit to the defense. I mean, 4th and inches stop. I mean, that's terrific. A field goal. I mean, special teams as well. The field goal block from 40 yards out. I mean, all these things, everyone's playing their part. And when you play a good team, the small mistakes, they show themselves more. And now if you're Fordham, you're not going to get the ball to start the half, but you just have to rely on your defense like you have been. And you can get into a back and forth if your offense is on down a touchdown. You couldn't when you're down 14. Then you need a couple stops. If you're down 21, then you can't. Then you need a lot to go your way. But the fact that they were able to end the half and only be down a touchdown, then you have a lot of confidence. And I mean, Will, I think you'd agree with me. The momentum's in Fordham's way right now.
Oh, 100%. 100%. You get that huge 4th and inches stop, and then you just uncork a 50-plus yard touchdown like it's nothing.
And
it's
listen,
nothing.
And I think if you start to, move past the first half and you think about the second half, some things that I look for. One, getting your playmakers more involved. Fotis Kokosoulis off the bat, 7 receptions. But look what MJ Wright did when he got the ball to him. He goes over the top, looks like Randy Moss, gets the touchdown down the field for 55 yards, longest of the day. He only has 3 receptions. DeKeith Carter, he's your first-team All-Patriot League wide receiver. He's only got 1 reception for 51 yards and a touchdown. But try to get him the ball more. And then put the ball in the hands of your running backs that have been so great for you this season. Trey Snead, first-team All-Patriot League. He's got 8 attempts. I want to see that number go up. Julius Luffridge, only 1 attempt for 4 yards. He's second-team All-Patriot League. Start to try to get playmakers the ball more. And I know they're trying. I know that's always the goal on offense. Yeah. But I would establish the run out of the gates in the second half, and it's going to open up downfield for your playmakers like DeKeith, like MJ, and, of course, Fotis Kokosoulis. I think that's the game plan this Fordham team really needs to look at, starting up that second half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Mike. I was saying before how they had only targeted, or not just targeted, but there were only 4 receptions between Carter and Wright in that first half. Obviously, 125 yards between the two is really good, but these are players that have put up tremendous years for you. We know Tim DeMora had one of the most historic FCS football seasons of all time. But like I said before, Fotis Kokosoulis, MJ Wright, and DeKeith Carter all had over 1,000 yards. 3 receivers. You'd be lucky if you get 1 receiver to have 1,000 yards in a season in the Patriot League. You had 3 receivers have 1,000 yards. And Trey Snead and Julius Luffridge, they were doing work all season long on the ground, just taking a lot of pressure off of Tim, giving him a lot of weapons to use. So we got to see these weapons utilized a little more in this second half, and they definitely were in the second quarter. Now, Mike, I want to ask you, you said obviously that should be the game plan, but on defense, should this Fordham team be more reliant on their defense, or should they push forward like they have been on offense all year and just keep the defense kind of steady?
The defense has been playing well. I mean, the offense hasn't been able to keep the defense off the field. They've turned over the ball really quickly. There was a 4th down stop and then an interception on the other end. Or there was, just to open the game, a fumble inside the 5 by Trey Snead. So the defense, I think, given how much they've been on the field, I think they've done a very good job. I've been impressed with what the defense has done so far. I think it's going to come down to the offense to take care of the ball. When they have the ball, they're great. Even if you punt the ball, you gain field position that way. You push them back inside their 20 perhaps. That's better than turning over the ball and giving them great field position. All things considered, I think the defense won this first half. Now it's up to the offense. You turned over the ball 3 times in the first half. Now you have to show up. You are the number 1 offense in all of FCS in the entire nation. You're the number 1 offense in the Patriot League. You're the number 1 offense that's still left standing. Now you have to go out and play like it. And I think putting up 21 points and a half is a testament to how great they are. They weren't that good in the first half offensively, turning over the ball 3 times. Yet they're so dynamic, they can put up 3 scores on you even when they're not great. So just think about if they can get their game really going in that second half, get those playmakers involved. That's what I want to see. Because then they can really take control of this game. Because the defense has been playing, for them, very, very good. They've stepped up to the occasion. If the offense can match that, I think Fordham's in a good position. And I think as a fan, as someone who's been around the team all year, you're satisfied with the halftime score.
And you should be pumped up, too. Obviously, very, like we were using this word before, it was very demoralizing in the beginning. We were down 28-7. It's like, wow, this was the best team.
Well, I was getting ready to, like, you know what?
Oh, I know.
I was like, we're gearing up for a blowout now. We're gearing up for a blowout. But I shouldn't have second-guessed that, because this Fordham team, time and time again, in Ohio they showed it, throughout the season they've showed it. They go down, they punch right back. And that offense can do that. In the blink of an eye, they can go 55 yards down the field to DeKeese Carter for a touchdown, MJ Wright for a touchdown. 2 50-plus big-time touchdown plays already, one to MJ, one to DeKeese. That's the type of offense this is whenever you think you're out, you can get right back into the moment's notice. So I think if the defense just plays how they've been playing, it's up to the offense now to win this game.
And another thing that you said before, Mike, that I really liked was how UNH, they're not a bad team, obviously. You can't be a bad team if you're in this stage, but they may have been maybe a little bit overachieving, just a little bit. But Fordham, they came right back, and now UNH had all of that momentum. And obviously, we've only seen the Patriot League opponents against Fordham, so it's hard to judge what they could have realistically done against UNH. But personally, I believed in the beginning that this Fordham team was stronger than this UNH team. Their offense is that good. If their defense can play like this for that, maybe even a tad lower, and their offense can continue to just deep ball, run it up, do whatever they have to do to win the game like they've been doing all season long, this is going to be a great finish for the Rams.
Yeah, and I think, just before we send it back to our guys over in New Hampshire, if you had to come away with this one with a prediction, I think that no matter what happens in the end, it's going to be the team with the ball probably at the end that's going to come away with the victory.
Yeah.
I think Fordham cuts it within a touchdown already. They're going to tie this game up. I feel super confident they will tie this game up. It's whether they'll be the team with the ball at the end or will they be able to make the stop at the end. That's how close this game is going to be. And if I had to give a prediction, that's what it'd be.
Yep. Fordham's got to keep control of the ball. They got to get those turnovers, and then they got to convert on turnovers. That's how they're going to win this game. They're going to stay together, play solid defense, and keep pushing the offense. A great first half. UNH 28, Fordham 21, and that's going to do it for us in the studio for now. A trip to the FCS Playoffs. Second round is on the line. UNH is up 28, Fordham 21. Not too far behind. The winner looking to punch their ticket for a meeting with Holy Cross. What does the second half in store? Stay tuned on 90.7 FM as Andrew and Danny, they'll take it from here.
What's up, guys? I'm Julia Moss.
And I'm Will Talent.
And we're 2 of your hosts for one of WFUV's football podcasts, NFL Friday.
Tune in every Friday for all news and updates around the National Football League.
Also, we'll be making our picks of the week around the league on every episode. Check out NFL Friday wherever you get your podcasts to catch the action.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York. Listener-supported public media from Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York. Music discovery starts here.
We're back in New Hampshire. UNH leads Fordham 28-21 as we head into the second half of the first round FCS playoff matchup between the Rams and Wildcats. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. Ryan Gregoire helping us out on site as well. And Danny, a lot of fireworks in that first half, and Fordham seemingly down in that second quarter. It was down 21. They looked like they were on the ground needing that, life-to-life or mouth-to-mouth recitation. They got it, and they got 2 straight touchdowns, only down 7 here going into the third quarter.
Yeah, if you would have told me we were only down 7 after the end of the first quarter, I would have told you were crazy. It looked like Fordham was dead to rights. UNH could do nothing wrong. Their offense was just moving the ball at will. Fordham got very unlucky with a couple of bad plays, a couple of big turnovers, a couple of potential no calls that turned into interceptions. It was just not good, but Fordham, at the end of that second quarter, seemed like they got a little bit of the momentum back. The one thing that Mike Calamari was saying during that halftime show is the Fordham defense has been on the field for so long, and although it's only 18 minutes to 11 minutes, 7 minutes in one half is a big gap. Fordham offense needs to do much better at taking care of the ball, putting together some more methodical drives to get the defense rested for the end of this game.
Looking at the team stats after one half of football, UNH is dominating almost every category. 410 yards for the Wildcats, only 312 for the Rams. UNH has more passing yards and rushing yards. Rams have more penalties as well. On third down, the Rams have been better. They are 4 of 6. And looking at that time of possession, Wildcats at 18-15, Rams only at 11:45.
Yeah, the time difference that UNH has been able to accumulate, I think, is the biggest difference in this game so far. Just the sheer amount of time that the Fordham defense is out on that field, especially with a running back like Dylan Lauby, who has been all over the place, playing like a true number 1 receiver and a true number 1 running back here today with 127 receiving yards and 60 rushing yards. He's currently the leader in the CAA in all-purpose yards and showing exactly why that is here today.
And the Rams will get set to kick back out to start this third quarter. Brandon Peskin will now handle the kickoff duties. Michael Bernard seemed to be a little bit shaken up on his last kick. So the normal kicker, Peskin, he'll now handle the kickoff duties for the Rams. The junior from Melville, New York. He'll get set to kick this one away. Dylan Lauby back to receive for the Wildcats. As Lauby runs up, or check that, Peskin runs up to the ball. Kick is away, end over end. It goes to the backer, and DJ Lincolns, he's brought down. And a nice job by Anthony Tony Itoya to make the tackle. So the Rams kicking away from Dylan Lauby, and the UNH offense will set up shop inside their own 30.
Yeah, probably a smart decision to kick away from Lauby. The third-team All-CAA kick returner has been very good in this game, getting the UNH offense in good field position to start just about every single drive. But the defense, it's all about what they can do for Fordham on this upcoming drive.
Max Brosmer back out onto the field. He's under center. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, strong side left. Lauby in the backfield as the running back. As Brosmer with the receiver in motion. Now the end around goes to that receiver in motion. It's Morriso has the far side numbers, passes the 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown UNH. Heron Morriso with the big play to start the third quarter, puts UNH up 13. 34-21, 14:44 remaining in the third quarter.
And just a nightmare start for the Fordham defense. It looked like that play was dead to rights. However, Alex Kemper got caught up on another Fordham defender on that outside, not allowing him to get into space to make that tackle. It should have been a 2-yard loss. Instead, it turns into a 70-yard touchdown.
Nick Mazie on for the extra point. Brosmer the holder, the starting quarterback. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 35-21, 14:44 remaining in this third quarter. And Danny, a hell of a start for UNH.
Yeah, a pretty much perfect start for UNH on that one, getting a monster run for Morriso, 71 yards to the house on the first play of the game. That is exactly how you want to start the second half. If you're the Wildcats, come out, get the momentum all the way back on your side. Fordham was starting to take it towards the end of that second quarter, but a beautiful run there to put them back up by 2 touchdowns.
And Morriso, 71 yards to the house. And all with that one attempt, he is the leading rusher for UNH. A team in the Wildcats, 481 yards of total offense. Not a good sight if you are Fordham. With Maisie kicking this one away. MJ right back with Trey Sneed and Jack Kaiser. Maisie getting set to kick this one away, right to left. As the wind has kind of died down a bit with end-over-end kick away. And Wright taking this one at the 10. He cruises past the 20, has some room as he passes the 25, gets to the 26, and brought down by a horde of Wildcat special teamers, and that's where Tim DeMorat will set up shop.
Yeah, and I've seen Wright make a couple of questionable decisions on the return. It looked like if he would have just gone a little bit more inside, he had a much bigger hole to go through. However, a good special teams play there by UNH to get right down before he's able to get a lot of yardage on that return.
Fordham down 14:37 remaining in the third quarter. DeMorat is in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Felton and Coco Sewell is in the slots. As DeMorat stares into the 4-3 defense of the UNH Wildcats. DeMorat claps to the head high snap. The run goes off the right tackle to Julius Luffridge, and he is brought down inside the 25 at the 24. And that time, a nice play by a few UNH defensive linemen and also linebacker Ryan Toscano.
Yeah, and Luffridge, that's only his second carry of the game. Coach Conlin said he was healthy going into this one, but a little surprising to not see him more after how dynamic he was all season long.
Luffridge got forward progress to the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the Rams with DeMorat in the gun. Luffridge to his right. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. As DeMorat takes the snap, runs up the gut to Luffridge, pinballing forward to around the 30. And it brings up about 3rd and 6 for the Rams.
Yeah, and it looked like Luffridge had a little bit of a bigger hole if he would have gone to the right. However, brings up 3rd.
DeMorat claps the snap, fires over to the far side for MJ Wright. He has a first down as he gets to the 38, and the Rams move the chains on 3rd down.
Yeah, and Fordham going back to those little curl routes that we saw all season long, something that we didn't see very much in the first half, but every time they went to it, it seemed to work out well for them.
Randall Harris was in on the stop, the cornerback for UNH, but a 1st and 10 for Fordham at the 38. DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 stacked on each side. It's Luffridge to the left of DeMorat, who claps to the head high snap. The run goes off the right tackle by Luffridge as he cruises past the 45 to the 46, and a 2nd and 2 incoming for Fordham.
And Lucas Portes on that one, now playing right guard with Ryan Joyce out, the typical left guard. A good block to set up Luffridge to pick up about 7 or 8 on that play.
2nd and 2 for Fordham. They're at their own 47. Check that 46. DeMorat's in the gun. 4 receivers, 2 stacked on each side in the formation, with Sneed to the right of DeMorat. As Tim takes the snap, the run goes up the gut to Sneed, pushing the pile for the first down as he heads into UNH territory at the 49. And another first down for Fordham.
And a good drive here so far, just moving the chains time after time, getting your defense some rest.
DeMorat claps to the snap, fakes the run, throws one to the near side numbers. He has MJ Wright for the first down as he crosses the 40 to the 36. Head high grab for Wright, and another first down for Fordham.
Yeah, MJ Wright definitely making a difference so far here at the start of this third quarter.
Bryce Shaw was in on the stop, but not before that Fordham first down. As DeMorat directing traffic, he's in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side right. It's Jets Cicio with Sneed. Sidecar right to DeMorat. 2 receivers stacked on the far side. And 1 receiver on the near side. Lone receiver is MJ Wright. DeMorat stares into the 4-3 defense of UNH. DeMorat claps to the head high snap. The run goes off the right tackle to Sneed as he fights forward for maybe a few as he gets it to the 33. And it brings up a 2nd and around 7.
And an amazing play there by Snead. Number 98, Nathan Kapongo, for the Wildcats, was in the backfield before he could even blink.
Demorat takes a snap, surveying the field, scrambling towards the near side. Throws for right. He makes the grab. In traffic was right. Inside the UNH 20. The referees are conversing to see if it was a catch, and it is a catch with Rick Santos, the coach for Fordham, or coach for UNH, trying to plead his case. And now it seems like the video board showed the play again, with now whistle sounding. And looks like the video board towards the end zone is being looked at right now. And it's very tough to tell, but the ball looks like it's out and hits the ground. So not the normal Patriot League viewings. Now we're in the playoffs, NCAA. Much clearer view as the ball looked like it skipped in. So the play is under review. We're not sure if it's a coach's challenge or just an official's challenge. But nonetheless, it should be overturned and bring up a third down.
Yeah, this play will definitely be overturned. The ball clearly touching the ground, and Tim Demorat was very angry on that play. It looked like Fordham had the capability to get that snap off, but couldn't get the offense set, and the ball's already being moved back.
Yeah, so the ball will be placed at the 33. And the Rams will have to get it down to around the 26, if my math is correct. And Fordham is moving the ball. Big 3rd and 7 coming up. You'd see if this is 4-down territory for the Rams.
It's an incomplete pass.
So our referees call an incomplete pass after the review, and a 3rd and 7 coming up. This crowd erupted after the video board showed an incompletion, and that made our referees kind of make that challenge. So a 3rd and 7 coming up for Fordham, with Demorat jogging back out onto the field. He's in the gun. Snead, the running back, in the slot to the far side. 4 receivers stacked on either side of the field as well, as Demorat looks for his play call down the far sideline. Demorat has thrown for 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. As Demorat takes the waist-high snap, surveying the field, still looking, all the time in the world, now scrambling towards the near side, throws over the middle, he has his running back, it's complete. Trey Snead with the grab, but now the referees are calling incomplete. So we'll see what this video board shows. It looks like Snead had his hand under, and we may see another review. It sure looked like Snead got his hand under the ball. But right now, the Rams have a 4th and 7.
Yeah, Coach Conlin looks irate over on that sideline. Shocking that this play's not getting reviewed.
The UNH crowd getting loud. Demorat in the gun, 4th and 7. Rams down 14. 4 receivers in the formation. Snead to the left of Demorat. Tim takes the head-high snap, surveying the field, throwing to his running back. Snead fighting for the first down. He cannot get there. And he'll be about a yard short of the first down, it looks like. And a turnover on downs for the Rams. And they're going to signal UNH football. Coach Conlin and offensive coordinator Kevin Decker are irate on the sideline. But right now, this third quarter has been all Wildcats. So before UNH comes back on to the field, we will take a quick break. Wildcats up 35-21, 11:01 remaining in the third quarter.
Hey WFUV listeners, Eli Keeler here, one of the Islanders beat reporters for our crew at WFUV Sports. Follow our coverage all season long as the Islanders embark on their first season under new head coach Lane Lambert. Follow us on our Twitter for live game updates, as well as post-game reports at WFUV Sports on our YouTube channel. For all things Isles, follow WFUV Sports all season long.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. UNH up 14 over Fordham, 35-21, 11:01 remaining in the third quarter. And Danny, it seemed like that last sequence of events was controlled by the referees a bit. You had a 2nd and 7, second and 7 was called incomplete by a catch by MJ Wright. A third down catch called incomplete by Trey Sneed. And that first play definitely right, but that second catch by Sneed looked like a completion, and the referee's giving no favors to the Rams right now.
Yeah, and it's been kind of like that all game long. Penalty yardage, 40 yards against Fordham to 14 against UNH, and I definitely feel like there has been a couple of no calls against Fordham. However, this UNH offense has been good enough where it hasn't mattered as much with the penalties, but the Rams definitely feel like they're starting to get hosed a little bit, especially as this game is starting to become late.
And I'll tell you what, having home field advantage is crucial in these types of situations. Looked like the crowd almost tempted the referees to replay the first non-catch. Obviously the second one, the crowd was dead quiet, making sure that there was no overturned call. But Brosmer, check that, Brosmer will be under center. Laube in the backfield. Two receivers, both to the far side. They're stacked. One tight end, strong side right, with another tight end, strong side left. With Brosmer under center, receiver in motion, and the run goes up the gut to Laube, who dives forward for maybe 3, and it'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and this game is definitely starting to get a little chippy. Joey Corcoran and B.J. Ferguson getting a little tangled up on after that play. Not exactly sure what's going on, but these teams are definitely starting to feel like they don't like each other.
2nd and 7 for UNH with Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Laube to the right of the quarterback. As Brosmer back to pass, scrambling towards the far side. He has the open receiver. It's Joey Corcoran, who is knocked out of bounds at the 48. And a first down for UNH.
And these receivers feel like Fordham's receivers, just open on every single play. Matt Jaworski put a lot of pressure on Brosmer, but he still puts it on the money.
So there's an injured Ram down. Looks like it's B.J. Ferguson, who's being helped by the training staff. And right now you feel like this Ram team kind of needs a bit of a break and just a time for some deep breaths. They're down 14, 10-13 remaining in the third quarter. Still a ton of time, but a Ram drive. It looked like they were moving well deep into UNH territory, but that drive stalled. And now UNH right back to trying to add to their lead. It's Brosmer in the gun. One receiver down the near side. It's Laube, who's usually the running back. 3 tight ends in the formation with Seed to the left of Brosmer. The snap going up the gut to Sneed, and he is brought down going nowhere. James Conway, Natati Drati doing a nice job on the combo tackle and brings up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Conway shot out of a cannon on that one from his linebacker position. He was not going to allow Seed to get anything on that play.
So Brosmer in the huddle for UNH, looking at his play sheet on his left wrist. Fordham defense awaiting the UNH offense. As Brosmer, 15 of 27, 296, and 3 touchdowns for him. As Brosmer, under center, fakes the run, stepping up in the pocket, firing one over the middle. It's incomplete. Looking for Joey Corcoran, Alex Kemper, some nice coverage.
Alex Kemper has been playing so well here today. Outside of that one questionable pass interference call, he has been absolutely perfect here.
So a 3rd and long for UNH. 3rd and 9, they'll spot it. They have to get to the Fordham 44. They have it at their own 45. Or check that, 47. With Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers towards the near side. 1 tight end, strong side right. Dylan Laube in the backfield alongside Brosmer. He takes the waist-high snap, collapsing pocket. He's able to break free, scrambling for the first down. He doesn't get there. He's a few yards short, crossing Fordham into Fordham territory at the 47, and it brings up about a 4th and 3, and now it's decision time for UNH.
And it looks like the punt unit will be coming on, but Jack Lowe the sophomore from Australia on that one, making a huge come-from-behind tackle as it looked like he was in the backfield and chased him all the way down before he was able to pick up the first down.
Sean Lahan is on to punt this one away. You got to watch out for the fake, only being a 4th and 2. But the punt is away, end over end, arcing punt with MJ Wright making his fair catch at the 18. Or check that, at the 8. And that's where the Rams will set up shop deep in their own territory, but a big stop by this defense. 35-21, New Hampshire leads, 8:23 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everybody, Sam Davis here. Check out WFUV Sports on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at WFUV Sports, and Instagram at WFUV_sports. There you can find all of our content from our beat reporters covering all the New York professional sports, as well as clips and full shows from One on One, New York's longest running sports call-in show. For everything WFUV Sports, follow us on our socials.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. Fordham down 14 halfway through the third quarter, 35-21 against UNH. The Fordham offense will come back out onto the field, but they're pinned deep in their own territory at the 10.
Yeah, and on that punt, it looked like MJ Wright kind of got hit on that play. A shocking no call to me. I think that's one of the most looked after calls to protect that returner who's defenseless while they're trying to receive it, especially after the fair catch call. Very surprised to not see the Rams offense getting about 15 yards for the personal foul, but it seems like that's just the way this game is going for the Rams. Nothing's been breaking their way. So what this Rams team needs to do is make their own luck. They need to go out and play well, something that we've seen them do so many times this year that is just not happening here today for whatever reason.
Tim Demorat jogs back out onto the field as daylight turns into dusk at Wildcat Stadium in New Hampshire. Demorat in the gun, 4 receivers, 2 on each side. As Sneed is sidecar left to Demorat. As Demorat claps to the snap, the run goes up the gut. Check that. It's Luffridge who has a lot of room crossing the 25 into the 35, and Julius Luffridge, a big run there as he breaks one loose, and the Rams are out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Yeah, and the juice got a little bit loose on that one. Shout out to your touchdown call earlier in the year, but a great run there from Julius Luffridge.
And now whistle sound. It looked like UNH jumped off sides, and the Rams should move 5 yards closer, but we'll see what the call is. You never know with these.
Offside.
But it is offsides on UNH. So
it's first down.
The Rams will move up to a 1st and 5 with the ball placed at the 42. Demorat's in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. As Luffridge is sidecar left to Demorat. As Demorat claps, now looks towards his sideline for the play. Demorat claps to the head high snap. The run goes up the gut to Luffridge as he's swallowed up by the UNH defenders. He maybe gets 1, but it brings up a 2nd and medium nonetheless.
Yeah, and that looked like a little bit of a quick whistle to me. It looked like the pile was still moving forward. Nonetheless, able to pick up about half a yard, maybe a 1 full yard, but Fordham 2nd and short.
Demorat right back to the line of scrimmage, firing one towards the far side, has Coco Sewells for a 1st down into UNH territory at the 37. And a nice pitch and catch from Demorat to Coco Sewells as another drive heating up for Fordham. Demorat quickly to the line of scrimmage. They want to go quick. Empty set, 5 receivers in the formation, 3 near side, 2 far side. Demorat takes the head high snap, stepping up in the pocket, throwing for Coco Sewells, and a nice grab by the receiver at the 30s. 1 yard short of a 1st down. but a precision catch and throw.
Yeah, Coco Sulis, I'm shocked that he was able to hang on to that one. It definitely looked like one of those arms was getting pinned behind him by Zidane Williams. Very surprising that that was not a penalty, but nonetheless, a great pitch and catch there between the two upperclassmen.
Morat in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end. 2 stacked receivers to the near side. 1 lone receiver on the far side. It's DeKeys Carter. Tight end strong side left is Jeff Ciccio. With DeMorat clapping to the head high snap. The run goes up the gut for Luffridge, who picks up the first down inside the 25 to the 24. And another nice run by Julius Luffridge sets the Rams up with first down deep into UNH territory.
Yeah, a good strong run there from Luffridge. Definitely something that this Rams offense needs to get him going here.
DeMorat in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Coco Sulis and Felon in the slots. It's Cody and Carter on the boundaries. Luffridge is sidecar left to DeMorat, who stares into the 4-3 defense of UNH. The run goes up the gut to Luffridge, 15-10, 5, touchdown Fordham. Julius Luffridge goes untouched into the end zone, and the Rams are within 8. 35-27, 5:59 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, and Luffridge, an extremely quiet first half. That time able, like you just said, goes 25 yards untouched into the end zone. A huge play there for Fordham to get them back within a touchdown. Now it becomes what this defense can do to try to get Fordham back into this game.
Brandon Peskin in on for the extra point. The junior with the snap down. Kick is up. And it is good. 35-28, 5:59 remaining in the third quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Michael Calamari, reminding you to tune into New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch all the breaking sports news, hot takes, inside scoops from our beat reporters, and interviews with people around the world of sports. One-on-One airs every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on YouTube Live, and once again at night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. on 90.7 FM. Want more One-on-One? Catch our Wednesday edition of the show, One-on-One nightly from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Twitter and YouTube Live. Join the conversation and tune in to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium under the lights in New Hampshire with UNH up 35-28 over Fordham. 5:59 remaining in the third quarter. And Danny, it was about a 4th and 2 at around midfield for UNH. They decided to punt and kind of pin that Fordham offense down. That was the wrong decision to put Tim DeMorat back out onto the field. The Rams raced down 90 yards very, very quickly to make it a 1-score game.
Yeah, 6 plays, 90 yards. Really on the back of Julius Luffridge, who ends up with about 74 yards on that drive alone to go along with the touchdown. A great drive there from Luffridge. Fordham back in this one now. Like I've already mentioned so many times, it's what the defense can do. They need a stop here. They're going to look towards their main characters every single time in Ryan Greenhagen and James Conway, but what can they do on this upcoming drive?
Brandon Peskin getting set to kick this one away to Dylan Lauby. As Peskin approaches the ball, puts toe to leather, and the kick is away. End over end kick with Lauby taking it at the 12. He has a seam as he cruises past the 30, 40, and he bounces off a tackler to around midfield, finally brought down. But great field position by UNH as they'll have it at the 48.
A great return there from Lauby. We've talked about it so many times this year. This Fordham kickoff unit is very, very shaky. And this UNH return unit is very, very good. So when you add those up, typically leads to bad things happening for the Rams.
So Max Brosmer will jog back out onto the field, the sophomore from Roswell, Georgia. He's in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. as the lone receiver is Thomason. He's usually a running back. He's put in motion with the run going off the left tackle to Lauby as he cruises into Fordham territory at the 47. And nice first down run by Lauby brings up about a 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of off-the-edge rushes, and it looks like an injured Ram down there, Alfonso Dixon. That would be a massive loss for Fordham.
That's for sure. Dixon right now down towards the near side numbers as the trainers go out to look at the 5th-year defensive ends from Coral Springs, Florida, to Coral Glades High School. And this season, Dixon has been solid. 7.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. And as you said, Danny, it would be a ginormous loss as Coach Conlin goes to the near side to look at the injury and talk with his defensive end.
Yeah, Dixon, one of the main characters on that defensive line, very, very good at getting pressure in the backfield. Doesn't quite have the sack numbers that you would expect with only 2.5, but he leads the team in quarterback hits and pressure rate. A very, very good player for the Rams. Looks like he's getting up, though.
As he is slowly walking, limping towards that far Fordham sideline. And Dixon's been kind of in and out of the lineup at times, but definitely one of those impact players for Fordham, a defensive line that can need all the help they can get. Right now, UNH, 510 total yards. Fordham, 443, but over 500 yards with, just about under 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. If you're the Rams, this defense, as much as they fought in this game, they've definitely had some trouble.
Definitely had some trouble. And this UNH offense is only averaging about 360 yards per game, so well above their average here in only the third quarter. Definitely not great if you're Fordham. However, right now, 2nd and medium, you need to get a stop. You need to get the ball back in Tim's hand to try to tie it up.
You're the Fordham defense. You'd love a big play, a turnover, but UNH, they do not turn the ball over. This season, only 11 turnovers. That's twice as few as last season. In 2021, they had 21. Brosmer under center. It's Seed in the backfield with Lauby in motion. Brosmer hands it off to Lauby off the right tackle. He has some room as he weaves towards the far sideline. Finally knocked out of bounds at around the 35. And the referee will knock him out at the 37, but still a first down with Anthony Tony Itoya guiding him out of bounds.
Yeah, and beginning to wonder when Fordham is going to defend against that jet sweep that has been very, very deadly. We saw Morriso take one all the way to the house, 70 yards, and that one good enough for about a 20-yard gain for the first down.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation. 2 far side, 1 lone receiver on the near side. It's Morriso. With Brosmer taking the waist-high snap, faking the run, surveying the field, throws one for his receiver. It's Corcoran who has it inside the 25 to around the 24, and a first down for Fordham.
And just a laser of a pass on that one. I thought number 32, B.J. Ferguson, was going to have a chance to maybe make a play on the football, but just fitted in there so tightly, so quickly, B.J. had no time to react besides to just go for the tackle.
They're going to say Corcoran stepped out at the 26, but still a first down for UNH. As Brosmer has it in the gun. 3 receivers, 2 to the far side, 1 lone receiver on the near side. It's Morriso. Lauby in motion, the running back, as this is a QB keeper by the quarterback, and James Conway saw it the whole way, and it's a tackle for loss back to the 27 and brings up a 2nd and 12.
Yeah, and it looked like that was a read option kind of jet sweep on that one. James Conway reading the quarterback's eyes perfectly, able to step up and make a tackle for loss.
The clock ticks under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. With Brosmer in the pistol. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Thomason in the backfield with Brosmer staring into the Fordham defense. He takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut by Thomason. He breaks free and brought down, though, at the 22. So it'll be a third down and around medium for Fordham in desperate need of a stop.
Yeah, it looked like he was running free, then hit a brick wall of Anthony Tony Itoya, who has been playing well here today. James Conway comes in to help clean it up, but Fordham desperately needs a stop on this drive.
So a 3rd and 6 for UNH as they're at the Fordham 22-yard line. Brosmer in the gun. 2 receivers in the formation with a tight end strong side right. There's also 2 running backs. As Brosmer takes the waist-high snap, stepping up in the pocket. He will run, looking for a first down. Did he pick it up? We'll see. Looks like he's about a yard short as Ryan Greenhagen tore him down. And it will be 4th down as the referee fists go up. And it looks like UNH is going to go for it. As the offense is staying on the field with Max Brosmer and company. UNH up 7, 2:35 and ticking in this 3rd quarter. And now the Wildcats will pace towards their sideline. It looks like they'll just take this one down and maybe take a timeout. And that's exactly what they do.
And it looks like Brosmer down on the sideline is bleeding pretty good, trying to figure out what's going on with him. Looks like his arm right around that elbow area. But we've seen this story a couple times here today. UNH going for it on 4th down. This kind of a crazy decision in my mind. I would definitely be taking the 3 points, take that for sure, 2-score a game. But if UNH is able to get this and work their way down to find the end zone, that would become an absolutely massive play for UNH and a killer for Fordham.
It's a 4th and 1, but it's a long one. And maybe be near 2. As Brosmer will come back out on to the field. He's in the gun. Lauby's to his right. 3 receivers all to the near side. 1 tight end, strong side right. Now receiver in motion as Hispanic goes to the far side. Brosmer takes the head-high snap, surveys the field, finds an open receiver. It's Joey Corcoran who has the first down inside the 15 to the 13. And the decision to go for it pays off. And the Wildcats are in business with 2:13 and ticking in the 3rd quarter.
And that was just a little slant arrow concept done to perfection. Corcoran comes in on the slant. The other wide receiver hits the little outside, but perfectly executed there by UNH to pick up the first down.
Brosmer under center. 2 receivers in the formation stacked on the far side. 2 tight ends as well with Lauby in the backfield. The run goes to Lauby off the right tackle. He has a hole, pinballing towards the end zone. He's in. Touchdown UNH. Dylan Lauby having a day with UNH up 41-28. 1:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and that was just too easy for Lauby. He hits the hole so hard. By the time he finally gets to a defender, he's just too close to the end zone, and that's an easy 6 there for UNH.
Nick Maisie on for the extra point. Brosmer the holder, the starting quarterback. Kick right to left towards the video board here at Wildcat Stadium with the snap down. Kick is up, and it is good. 42-28, 1:40 remaining in this 3rd quarter. And Danny, that 4th and 1, if the Rams would have got that stop, they would kind of be in the driver's seat to tie this game up. They cannot get that stop, and UNH scores a touchdown.
Yeah, definitely would be in the driver's seat, and that's a brutal, brutal play for the Rams. But UNH does it to perfection on that one, gets the first down, their first one of the game on 4th down. They were 0 for 2, and they went to the pass both times. That one tipped back into the Honeywell, and the 3rd time's the charm for UNH to pick up that first down and go back up by 2 touchdowns.
Now, if you're Fordham down 2 scores with about 16:40 remaining in this game, you know, you got to think about, obviously your offense has all the firepower in the world to score 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, even 4 touchdowns in that time period. But it's if your defense could get enough stops. This 3rd quarter, they did kind of hold up pretty well, but not good enough on that 4th down. And UNH up 14 with Maisie getting set to kick this one away. With now the lights fully on at Wildcat Stadium and the sun setting. As Maisie approaches the ball, puts toe to leather, end over and kick away with MJ Wright just calling a fair catch on this one. And the Rams will set up shop at the 25 with Tim DeMorat coming back out onto the field.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Fordham Rams doing a good job, not a great job on that last defensive drive. To me, it's starting to feel more and more it's whatever defense can get a stop is going to win this football game. The offense has really kind of settled in now for the Rams after that rough first half, but they look good here in the second, and the New Hampshire offense is doing what it's been doing all game. So whatever defense can get a stop, I think has the potential to be the difference maker in this game.
UNH up 14 with Demorant in the gun. 1:40 remaining in the third quarter. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 stacked on each side. As Demorant claps to the head high snap, fakes the run to Sneed. Demorant stepping up in the pocket, and this ball is loose. Flags fly, and whistles sound, so it will be an incomplete pass. We'll see which side the flag goes on. It's holding on the defense, and the Rams will get a first down.
Yeah, on that outside right there, Fotis Kokosoulis was held up a lot by number 0, Joe Eichmann. An easy call there. I can see it all the way from the far side of the field on that one.
So the ball will be placed at the 35. First and 10 for the Rams with Demorant in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 stacked on each side. It's Sneed to the right of Demorant, who stares into the 4-3 defense of UNH. Demorant takes the head high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed, who slithers to the 38, and it brings up a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and interested to see what Sneed can do here on this drive after the great drive we just saw from Lethbridge. Kind of surprised that he's not back out after what he was able to do on the last Fordham drive.
Demorant in the gun. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Sneed to the left of Demorant. It's Demorant with Kokosoulis in motion. Takes the snap. Surveying the field. Steps up and throws one for Kokosoulis. He has a first down at the 46. And a nice throw and catch from Demorant to Kokosoulis.
Yeah, and MJ Wright and DeKeys Carter on that play did a great job of taking the safeties with them. That looked like it would have been the safeties' territory outside on that outside boundary. But MJ and DeKeys take them over the top, forcing them to go with them over the top.
40 seconds and ticking in this third quarter. Fordham has a 1st and 10 at the 47. As Demorant claps to the head-high snap. The screen goes to Kokosoulis down the near side as he pinballs forward to around the 44. And a nice gain on first down for Fordham brings up a 2nd and 3.
Yeah, and Fordham going back to those screens that we saw all year long. MJ Wright laying a beautiful block out there on the outside on number 6, Derek Thompson.
So Demorant with 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter is in the gun. We'll see if he lets it go down to the end of the quarter or he gets the play in. He's in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Sneaks to his right with Demorant now looking towards the sideline, and that will end the third quarter with flags flying, and we'll see which way it goes. UNH thinks it's false start. Fordham thinks it's offside, and there'll be no penalty either way as the third quarter has hit triple zeros. Let's send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Will Talent.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Checking back in with the FCS playoff games, Elon falls to Furman 31-6. Richmond is shutting out Davidson 41-0 late in the fourth quarter. Delaware and St. Francis in the third quarter now as the Blue Hens are on top big 42-10. The mid-afternoon slate is now underway as North Dakota trails Weber State 7-0 as the first quarter winds down. Gardner-Webb visits Eastern Kentucky with that one starting in under 30 minutes. Idaho and Southern Louisiana are set to go with kickoff at 7. Winner advances to face Samford. And for the last of the FCS, 10:15 start for Montana and Southeast Missouri State to wrap up the night. Some big games in the top 25 as number 2 Ohio State drops to number 3 Michigan 45-23 as the Wolverines take control of the Big Ten. And finally, Iron Bowl action in Tuscaloosa as Auburn and Alabama see the Crimson Tide with a 21-7 lead. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Will Talent.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. UNH ahead of Fordham, 42-28 as we start this fourth quarter. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott. And Danny, this game has been up and down, down and up if you're the Rams and the Wildcats. And right now, this Fordham offense is driving, trying to making this a one-score game.
Yeah, if you're Fordham, on this drive in particularly, it becomes a must score. You must get 7 points, at least on this drive, So for Fordham right now, they're pushing the ball down the field well. It feels like they finally started to settle into this game. But the UNH offense has been settled in all day long. They've been playing so great. So for Fordham, they need the defense to come up and make a stop to try to get the Fordham offense to be able to have the opportunity to tie it up.
First round of the FCS Playoffs. Winner will take on Holy Cross, the 8th-ranked seed in the tournament. And Fordham, they would want anything else than a rematch in Worcester. But first, they have to win this game. They're down by 14. Lights are on here at Wildcat Stadium. A nice crowd here in New Hampshire, about 75% full. And with the lights on, the stars come out. That's where Tim DeMorat and this Fordham offense comes into play. They have a 2nd and 3 in New Hampshire territory at the 46. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Felton and Coco Soulis in the slots, with Sneed to the right of the quarterback, with DeMorat staring into the 4-3 UNH defense, looking for his play towards the sideline as he claps to the head high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed, a big open hole as he picks up a first down and more to the 30, torn down inside the 25 to the 24, and Trey Sneed burst through for a first down.
And the Fordham rushing attack starting to come alive here in the second half. That puts Trey Sneed close to 100 yards on the day. Luffridge sitting at 75.
DeMorat is in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation. He takes the head high snap, surveying the field, throws one for Coco Soulis, incomplete. A nice play that time by Joe Eichmann, the junior, and it brings up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and a little bit of a misread there from DeMorat. Number 4, Takis Carter, was wide open heading to the end zone. Would have been an easy 6 points for the Rams if he would have looked that way.
DeMorat's in the gun on a 2nd and 10 at the UNH 24. DeMorat looking towards the sideline for the play. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Stacked to the near side, it's Carter and Felton. DeMorat gives the handoff up the gut to Sneed, who pinballs forward inside the 20 to the 18 and brings up a 3rd and around 3 in the UNH red zone.
And Sneed running very hard here on this drive. Definitely needs to pick up a first down here with 3rd and about 4 coming up.
DeMorat in the gun. The UNH crowd getting loud. DeMorat looking towards the sideline for the play. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. Coco Soulis and Felton in the slots. Sneed sidecar right to DeMorat. DeMorat takes the head high snap, surveying the field, throws for Coco Soulis. He has the first down, stays on his feet inside the 10, finally knocked out of bounds. But a big first down pickup by DeMorat to Coco Soulis, and a 1st and goal situation for the Rams.
And as you mentioned, when the lights come on, the stars come out. Fotis Coco Soulis, the star of this Fordham wide receiver group, making a big play and keeping this drive alive.
DeMorat NASCARing to the line of scrimmage. He's in the gun. With 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the formation. It's Cicio, who's in the slot to the far side. It's Sneed to the right of DeMorat, who's looking for his play call down the far sideline. As Coco Soulis being motioned over into the backfield now as he flankers DeMorat. DeMorat takes the waist-high snap. The run is kept by DeMorat, gives it to Coco Soulis. Touchdown Fordham! The triple option gets the touchdown for the Rams as they pull within 1 score again. 42-34, 13-18 remaining in the 4th quarter.
And the triple option run to perfection on that play by Tim DeMorat. He reads the defender, gets the pitch out to Coco Soulis for the rushing touchdown, something that we haven't been saying much this year from Coco Soulis.
Coco Soulis, 14 receiving touchdowns. That's his first rushing touchdown. That's number 15 on the season total, with Peskin kicking this one right to left with Hazlitt the holder. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 42-35, 13-18 remaining in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Danny Scott.
I'm Tyler Hu, and we're 2 of your hosts for WFUV's College Gridiron.
We'll discuss all the best games from around the world of college football.
We'll also talk about the rankings and give our thoughts on the Heisman race.
We'll preview the best games of next week and give our score predictions.
Keenan Troy and other co-hosts will join us as well.
Tune in to College Gridiron wherever you get your podcast.
back at Wildcat Stadium. Andrew Gullotta here with Danny Scott and Fordham. Pulls within 7, 42-35, 13-18 remaining in this first round FCS playoff matchup between the Wildcats and the Rams. And Danny, Fordham got the score they needed, and now they need the stop.
Yeah, I said it earlier. It really is starting to feel like it's going to come down to who can get a stop. Neither defense can seem to do anything against either offense. So Fordham right now needs to come out guns a-blazing and get a big stop, force a punt, force a turnover. Whatever you got to do, you cannot allow UNH to get points on this drive.
Fordham's offense led by Tim DeMorad. He's 22 of 33, 316, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's completed 67% of his passes. Tracy over 100 yards. He has 107 on 13 carries. Julius Luffridge has a touchdown and 75 yards as well on the ground. Coco Soulis, he's got 13 catches, 132 yards and a rushing touchdown as well, as the Rams offense is really starting to cook this defense of UNH. With Peskin getting set to kick this one away to Dylan Laube and company as he puts the ball on the tee. Kicking it right to left. No wind anymore as it's died down. Just a beautiful night for football in November after Thanksgiving. With Peskin raising his left arm, approaches the ball, puts toe to leather, and the kick is end over end to around the 10. It's received by Laube, who tries to reverse field. He has a seam, breaks a tackle past the 40, finally brought down at the 41. But Dylan Laube showing off in the return game. Another good field position spot starting for UNH.
Yeah, and just his change of direction on that one. Mike Courtney had what seemed like it was going to be a huge stop down there deep around the 15-yard line. Instead, Laube gets away from him, gets to the other side of the field, and gets a massive return there for the Wildcats.
Max Brosmer back out onto the field for UNH. This drive moving left to right for the Wildcats. As Brosmer takes a snap, fakes the run to Laube, throwing one, looking to throw, and this one just goes out of bounds. Some nice coverage by the Fordham secondary, and it'll bring up second down.
Yeah, and watching James Conway on that play definitely read the play action before it was even a thing, dropping back to where one of those tight ends would have been sitting, but Conway, a beautiful play there from his linebacker position.
Good news for the Rams. Alfonso Dixon is back in the game, which is a good sight to see. With Brosmer in the pistol. 3 receivers in the trips down the near side. 1 tight end, strong side left, with Laube in the backfield. With Brosmer faking the run. Rams bringing pressure with Brosmer throwing over the middle of the field. It's incomplete as it sails over the head of Joey Corcoran in the 3rd and 10 upcoming.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure there from the Rams. It looked like Ryan Greenhagen may have been the one to get back there and get a hit on Brosmer. Much needed pressure right now. The Rams are looking fired up down on the sideline, and that far crowd is getting amped.
That Rams sideline is very loud. Brosmer in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 3 near side, 1 lone receiver on the far side. Brosmer takes the head high snap, surveying the field, unloading one deep for Coyne. He has it! A beautiful pitching catch. It's Brosmer to Coyne, and just a great play by UNH as they put a sword right into the heart of this Fordham defense.
Yeah, and Coyne very, very fired up after that play. But the pass by Brosmer is one of the better passes we've seen all year from any quarterback on this Fordham schedule. He just dropped it in a bucket on that play.
Stephen Williams in on the coverage, but couldn't cause the incompletion. Brosmer takes a head-high snap. Run goes off the left tackle by Laube looking for the edge. He can't get it. A big stop. Stephen Williams this time brings Laube back to the 28, and a 2nd and 13 upcoming.
Yeah, and Williams trying to make up for that play comes out of a cannon from the secondary to make that 3-yard tackle for loss.
So Brosmer now in the huddle looking for the play. The clock ticks under 12 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter as the Wildcats are in no rush. Brosmer breaks that huddle as he'll be under center. It's Thomason in the backfield. Laube, the running back, is now in the slot to the far side. 3 receivers in the game as well, 1 tight end. The run going off the left tackle to Thomason. He maybe gets a few, pushing the pile to around the 25, and it should bring up a 3rd and 11, another 3rd and long for UNH.
Yeah, and the Fordham front seven is finally starting to get a little bit pressure, starting to push back against this UNH offensive line that was so good. That play, Matt Jaworski just kind of sticks his arm out, and Thomason runs directly into him, bringing up a big 3rd down play here.
Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers, or check that, 4 receivers in the formation. 1 lone receiver on the far side. 3 receivers on the near side. Laube to the left of Brosmer. Brosmer takes the head-high snap. Steps up in the pocket, surveying the field, throwing one deep for the end zone. It's incomplete as the pass falls incomplete. No flags. And Joey Corcoran, the intended receiver, couldn't come back to the ball. Some nice coverage by B.J. Ferguson.
Yeah, and the crowd is not very happy about that no call, but Corcoran runs back. He knows that wasn't a penalty. B.J. Ferguson, great coverage there on the outside, bringing up a chance for UNH to go back up by 2 scores, but this time a field goal try.
Won't be an easy one, too. Over 40 yards. It's a 43-yarder for Nick Mazie from the left hash. With the snap down, kick is up, and it is good. UNH goes up 10. 45-35, 10:50 remaining in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Will Grant.
And I'm Chris Persianen.
And we're 2 of the hosts for WFUV's very own basketball podcast, Pick and Pod.
Tune in weekly for updates and our takes on the latest around the NBA, as well as exclusive insight from our very own Knicks and Nets beat reporters.
We'll have you covered on everything from all of the NBA's latest drama we know and love,
to debating all year long which team will get to lift that golden Larry O'Brien in June.
So don't miss a beat from the hardwood on WFUV's Pick and Pod.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York, listener-supported public media. From Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York. Music discovery starts here.
We're back at Wildcat Stadium. UNH ahead of Fordham, 45-35. 10:50 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Rams are getting the ball back as Nick Mazie probably made his most clutch kick of his young career. 43 yards with the wind that's left from the breeze earlier in the day. It was going with him, and that little breeze was probably all he needed as it squeaked through that crossbar.
Yeah, it was good from 42 yards, and its probably true kick distance was good from 43 yards. It barely got through that field goal, but Fordham gets the stop that they were kind of looking for, only allowing 3 points. It does set them up for late in game. If Fordham is the last team with the ball, if they're able to get this to a 3-point game, a touchdown would win it. Definitely a big play from UNH to get that through, but Fordham has a chance to get it to within 3 now.
And right now, the tension is palpable in our booth here at Wildcat Stadium. A good crowd here by UNH, and after every play, a big roar or a big oohs and ahs. And we've seen a great football game between the Rams and Wildcats, and now Tim DeMoran and company will receive the ball, but not before a Nick Mazie kickoff at their own 35, kicking away to MJ Wright, Jack Kaiser, and Trey Sneed. With Mazie, the redshirt freshman, just hit his career long of 43 yards. It was 42 before it, so probably his boundary. He nailed that kick as he now kicks this one end over ends. Fair catch called by MJ Wright at the 3, and the Rams offense will start at the 25, and Tim DeMoran will come back out onto the field, really at this point needing to score every drive.
Definitely needing to score every drive, and this gives me a lot of flashbacks to that Ohio game. Ohio down by 10 against Fordham. However, we're in the opposite situation right now. Fordham down by 10 against New Hampshire, needing to come back and win this one to move on.
Danny, that's a good way to look at it if you want to take the positive side, down 10 with 10:50 remaining in the fourth quarter with Demorat in the gun. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Coco Soulis and Fellon in the slots with Luffridge to the left of Demorat. Demorat takes the waist-high snap, surveying the field, unloading one deep for Carter. He's held the whole way, and no flags called. And DeKeith Carter looked like he was being held the whole way on his shoulder pad. There is now a flag out. We'll see what it is. And there's a warning on the Fordham coaching staff. And, I mean, they're upset, and I don't blame them. That was holding the whole way. That's just not called.
Yeah, that was the worst no call that we've seen here today. DeKeith Carter, that looked like a blatant pass interference. Not sure what's going on.
So Demorat in the gun gets his play. 4 receivers in the formation, 2nd and 10 with 10:44 remaining in the game. Demorat takes the head-high snap, surveying the field, throwing one deep down the near side numbers for Felton. He's looking for a flag and just does not get one again, and it brings up a 3rd and long.
And again, that was blatant up here. From here, I could see his jersey stretched out. So starting to turn into a little bit of a ref game right now.
Demorat in the gun. This crowd getting loud. 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Luffridge to the left of Demorat. The senior from Merritt Island, Florida, looking for his play down the far sideline. He gets it, staring into the 4-3 defense of UNH. Demorat claps to the waist-high snap. The screen goes to Coco Soulis. He can't make a guy miss, and he's brought down at the 24. 4th and 11 coming up, and Coach Kevin Decker is beside himself on the far sideline, yelling at these referees, and that drive will be stymied with now Will Hazlitt coming back out on to the field for the punt. And if you're the Rams, they feel like they have gotten hosed in this game by the referees, and at this point, it's definitely been a lot of close calls. With Hazlitt punting this one away. Laube is back. Good punt by Hazlitt as Laube gets it at the 20. He ranges past the 30, making guys miss. Finally brought down at the 35 by Greenhagen, but Max Brosmer in this UNH offense will really at this point look to try to put this game away with 9:54 remaining in the fourth quarter.
And if I'm the Fordham coaching staff, I do not blame them one bit for being irate. There was some very, very questionable no calls, and I know I sound like a homer right now, but this is just football.
I know we both do.
Watching it down on the field, it looked so blatant on 2 of those on that last drive that should have been penalties, and it's been like that all game long.
And it's not like the Fordham defenders are getting much help by the referees as well. With Brosmer in the pistol, 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Laube in the backfield. The run going up the gut to Laube, who crosses the 40, brought down by Ryan Greenhagen at the 42. But a nice gain on first down by Laube brings up a 2nd and 4.
And Ryan Greenhagen saved a touchdown on that play. If Laube got outside of Greenhagen, there was nothing but green grass all the way down that Fordham sideline.
So Fordham down 10. UNH has the ball. They need a big play at this point, as the UNH defense was the one to get the stop. Now Fordham desperately needs a stop. With Brosmer under center. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Laube in the backfield with Brosmer taking the snap. The run goes up the gut to Laube as he tries to break it to the near side numbers. He does as he crosses midfield to the Fordham 48, and a first down for UNH.
And it definitely looks like down on the field, things are starting to get chippy with both of these teams. Going to be something to watch as we get down the stretch here.
So Brosmer looking for his play towards the sideline as he'll look to huddle. And at this point, the clock is not becoming the Rams' friend. They're down 10 with 8:45 and ticking remaining in this first round FCS playoff matchup. As Brosmer is in the pistol, Laube in the backfield. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, strong side right. All those receivers are to the far side. As Brosmer takes a snap, up the gut run to Laube, who maybe gets 1. Big hit by Matt Jaworski, and it brings up a 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Jaworski rocked him on that one. Definitely time to start going for the football if you're the Fordham defense. Start making plays on the ball, trying to pop one out. Even if you got to get a little aggressive and risk running a couple penalties, now is the time in the game where you're going to start to have to. Otherwise, this could get out of hand from you very, very quickly.
Clock ticks under 8 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter with Brosmer in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Thomason in the game at running back with Thomason getting the run. He gets a few to the 45, still pushing the pile. And now the Rams say they have it. We'll see what the call is. Fordham Football! A huge turnover by Fordham when they needed it most. And Danny, you called it. Punch for the ball. That's exactly what they did. And it looked like Richard Hofus at the bottom of the pile with the ball.
That's exactly what Fordham needed, and let me tell you, you start to get late into these games, you got to start going for the football. That's exactly what Fordham did. Makes a huge, huge play right there, able to get Fordham the ball back with the chance to make it a 3-point game.
Tim DeMorat races back onto the field. 7:36 remaining in the game. Fordham down 10. DeMorat sets up the screen to Coco Suos, who has it. He's tripped up at the 46. Only a 1-yard gain there, but it brings up 2nd and 9.
And it looks like Coco Suos was tripped up by Wright on the outside right there, trying to make a block for him, puts his leg out, and Coco Suos just runs right over it.
DeMorat takes the waist-high snap, stepping up in the pocket, now scrambling, throwing towards that Fordham sideline, just incomplete. And now it brings up a 3rd and long.
And we've seen this story already here today. What can Tim DeMorat do? The 5th-year senior from Florida, 1 touchdown away from tying the FCS all-time touchdown record in a season. Need him to step up and show why he's the best quarterback in the entire FCS this year.
DeMorat in the gun, 3 receivers in the formation, 1 tight end, strong side right. It's Snead to the left of DeMorat with Coco Suos in motion. DeMorat back to pass, surveying the field, throws over the middle, incomplete. And it brings up a 4th and 9. And it looks like the Rams are pointing towards a possible penalty, but it doesn't look like they'll get it, and it brings up a 4th and 9.
And if we haven't been getting the penalties already today, there's no shot that that was going to be called. That one to me looked just more like good defense rather than a penalty, but I think if UNH was on offense, that may be going 15 yards the other way.
4th and 9 from the Fordham 46. DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Snead to the left of DeMorat. DeMorat takes the waist-high snap, surveying the field, unloading one deep, incomplete. The pass intended for Garrett Cody, but it was just beyond the hands of the receiver. And UNH will take over on downs.
And that is heartbreaking for the Fordham offense on that one, and the Fordham defense. After you come up, you make a stop. This game, that feels like it could potentially be the nail in the coffin.
UNH up 45-35. 7:02 remaining in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
Ryan Gregory here, joined with Michael Calamari and Andrew Gullotta, 3 of your hosts for Nosebleeds, WFUV's only baseball podcast.
Tune in every week as we recap the latest from the Bronx and Queens, as well as news from around the MLB.
You can listen to Nosebleeds on Apple, Spotify, WFUVsports.org, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Take a trip around the bases all season long with the Nosebleeds podcast on WFUV Sports.
Back on the campus of the University of New Hampshire. UNH ahead of Fordham, 45-35. 7:02 remaining in the fourth quarter with UNH taking over on downs after the Fordham 4-and-out. This crowd is pumped up here at UNH with the coaches all jumping up and down along with the players. And this offense from UNH trying to put this game to bed, up 10 with 7:02 remaining in the fourth quarter.
The Fordham defense will once again be tasked with trying to punch that ball out, getting a big stop. There's still definitely some time left in this game, 7 minutes. We've seen the Fordham offense score 21 points in 3 minutes. However, the momentum fully with UNH right now. Fordham needs to do something to get this ball back.
Brosmer in the gun, 3 receivers to the near side, 1 tight end, strong side left. It's Laube to the left of the quarterback as Brosmer is just waiting for the go signal by our referees. Brosmer staring into the 4-3 defense of Fordham. He takes the waist-high snap. The run goes off the right tackle by Laube, who picks up a few at the 44 in Fordham territory, and it brings up about a 2nd and 8.
Yeah, and a lot of hats on the football for Fordham, but if I'm UNH, even if you got to punt this one away, you're just rushing the ball, wearing the clock out, an extended 4-minute drill here, letting that game clock run all the way down to 2-3 seconds before you snap it.
Clock ticking under 6:30 remaining in the game. Brosmer under center. 3 receivers, 1 tight end in the formation. It's Thomason in the backfield for UNH. That's Brosmer with Laube in motion. He gets the run on the end around, and he gets a positive gain. Still going, almost broke free for a touchdown if it wasn't for Alfonso Dixon making the stop, but he picks up a first down inside the 35 and a first down for UNH.
And Laube up over 100 rushing yards in this game. It looked like he was dead to rights by Steve Williams in the backfield, however, able to stay on his feet. A magician here today and the catalyst of this UNH offense.
So, Brosmer in the huddle with the clock ticking under 6 minutes remaining in the game. Brosmer looking like he'll be in the pistol with Laube in the backfield. The run goes up the gut to Laube, who tries to break it to the outside as he pinballs to the 30. A few Rams took him down. Kemper and Greenhagen were there, and it brings up about a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and for Fordham, you got to start to get really, really aggressive with these punches. Even if it's a personal foul, you got to really start swinging at that football right now if you want a chance to try to get back in this one. A great drive by UNH right now, wasting a whole lot of time and running the football effectively.
Clock ticking under 5:05 remaining in the game. 2nd and 6 for UNH with Brosmer in the gun. It's Laube to his right. 1 receiver, 3 tight ends, strong side right. The run going up the gut for Laube, who has a lot of room. He breaks free as he's tackled from behind inside the 20 to the 18. And as the clock starts to tick down, and UNH is headed for that Fordham end zone, and this game is almost on ice.
Yeah, creeping closer and closer and closer to looking like that right now, Andrew. The UNH offense could do no wrong here today. They've been very, very good. Close to that 50 burger here tonight.
It's Brosmer in the pistol. 2 running backs in the backfield with now a tight end, strong side right. The run goes up the gut to Seed, who maybe breaks 1 tackle, but barely gets back to the line of scrimmage with Ryan Greenhagen plowing the running back into the ground. A timeout's called by Fordham with 4:15 remaining in the game. And right now, Danny, if you're Fordham, you need obviously a stop in this next possession and probably force a field goal attempt to keep this a 2-score game.
Yeah, definitely have to force, at worst case scenario, a field goal. But right now, Fordham needs to figure out how to get the ball out of the UNH offense's hands. A big play right here, returning a fumble recovery potentially. That's about as good as it's going to get if you're Fordham, but UNH running the ball very effectively, about a first down away from this one being on ice.
Fordham had their chances. They had 2 possessions down 10 with the same exact score, and they went 4-and-out and 3-and-out on those 2 tries. You had the sideline get a warning for their animation on some non-calls that were questionable to say the least. But at the end of the day, it's the Rams and the Wildcats on the field, not the referees, and they got to be the ones to make the plays. And right now, UNH has just made more plays.
Yeah, Fordham's had their opportunities to make those plays, but 3 turnovers in this one for Fordham and a whole lot of miscues on the offensive side of the football. It's been tough to watch if you're a Ram fan, but Fordham still has some sliver of hope in this one if they're able to get a stop on this play.
Look, if you're Fordham, you have 4:15 remaining in this game. Could be a lot of seniors' last game. This program next year will have a huge overhaul. And right now, as Tim DeMorat and Coach Decker are talking towards that far sideline, a lot of changes could be coming to the Rams if they can't come back in the next 4:15. And right now, they're just trying to halt that any second. So if you're Tim DeMorat in your last drive or two, you got to be able to make the most of it. And if you're Ryan Greenhagen and a lot of those Rams players on defense up front, can you make the most of your last 4:15 remaining and make a big play?
Yeah, definitely. They don't want to go home. None of this team wants to go home. This team was the team that was supposed to be Fordham's best shot at making a deep playoff run that we've had in a long time. They're very, very good, but they are an older group. So right now comes in the maturity that this Fordham team has. They need to come out, make a play, figure out how to get the football back in Tim DeMorat's hand.
Brosmer will huddle up with 4:15 remaining in the game. 2nd and 10. It's Laube now back in the game for Isaac Seed, the backup running back for New Hampshire, with the huddle being now broken by Brosmer. He is in the pistol right now. Laube in the backfield. 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, strong side right, with a receiver in motion more so. The run goes up the gut to Laube. He has space. 10-5, touchdown UNH. Dylan Laube having one of his best games of his career. That's 4 touchdowns for the running back. UNH goes up 51-35, 4:10 remaining in the 4th quarter.
And that will just about do it in this one. Laube, the nail in the coffin, is 3rd rushing touchdown, 147 rushing yards, 127 receiving yards, 4 total touchdowns. Big players make big plays when the lights come on, and none have been bigger tonight than Dylan Laube.
Nick Mazy's extra point is up and good. As UNH goes up 52-35, 4:10 remaining in this 4th quarter. And a 17-point lead with 4:10 remaining. It's not a good sign if you're the Rams. And you see this UNH sideline, they are pumped up, dancing and telling the crowd to get pumped up as they would love a shot at Holy Cross, a team that Fordham only lost by 1 in overtime on a 2-point conversion. Now they feel like they have a shot to get back to the quarterfinal.
Definitely. If you're UNH, you feel very good about this potential win. Not quite over yet, but it seems increasingly like it's going to be like that. UNH has a very realistic chance to take down Holy Cross if they do in fact advance, and it's looking like it's going to be New Hampshire.
And New Hampshire, unlike Fordham, they're young, and they'll probably have a few more chances with this core in place, which will probably make the rest of the CAA and FCS shiver a bit after seeing this outcome. With Mazy's kick coming left to right against Fordham towards the soccer field at New Hampshire. With Mazy's kick away, end over end, to Makai Fellon. He takes the fair catch. And Tim DeMoran and company will start at the 25. And the Rams will need to score. They'll need to score quick. And down 17. If you're Fordham, just trying to put some good drives together and maybe get a miracle.
Yeah, definitely. Fordham needs to score in probably under 30 seconds here in this one. Tim DeMorat, this offense is the offense to do it. However, only 2 timeouts left sets them up in a not ideal situation.
DeMorat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation, 2 on each side. It's Coco Soulis and Felton in the slots. As DeMorat staring into the 4-3 defense of UNH. He takes the head-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed as he dives forward to the 28 and brings up a 2nd and 7.
And curious as to why Fordham is running the football. It's starting to feel like this Fordham team is realizing the situation that they're in.
Morat in the gun, 4 receivers in the formation. As he takes the waist-high snap. The run goes to Sneed, who picks up the first down and more to the Fordham 40, or check that 39, but still a first down by Sneed, and that moves the chains.
A good run there from Trey Sneed, picking up the first down, stopping the clock.
So Demorat right back to the line of scrimmage. 4 receivers in the formation. He takes the waist-high snap, stepping up in the pocket, throwing one over the middle. He has his tight end over the middle. It's Jeff Cicio, or check that, it's the receiver Dan Burns who makes the catch for the first down. And now the Rams no-huddle offense moving into UNH territory at the 47.
Yeah, and a good drive so far here by the Rams to try to get this back within 2 scores.
Morat takes the waist-high snap, scrambling towards the near side. There's a lot of room if he wants to run. He does, down the near side numbers. Finally goes out of bounds inside the 30 to the 29, but a nice run by Tim Demorat as the clock ticks under 3:20 to 3:18 remaining with the Rams down 17.
Yeah, Tim showing off with his legs there on this one. Has been so fun to watch through the air this year, but a good gain on the ground.
Demorat takes the head-high snap. Run goes up the gut to Sneed, who has a lot of room. 20-15, trying to break it outside. Has some room inside the 10, or be knocked down at around the 11. And another first down for Fordham as the clock ticks under 3:06 remaining. Demorat racing to the line of scrimmage. Clock stopped because of a first down. As Demorat in the gun. Tight end, 3 receivers in the formation. As the quarterback looking for his play call. Demorat claps to the waist-high snap. The run goes up the gut to Sneed, who's pancaked by a few defensive linemen for UNH, and now flags fly. And we'll see what the call is. The clock stops with 2:39 remaining in the fourth quarter. And looks like this will be on UNH. At least.
After play's over. Personal foul. Late hit defense.
That's exactly what it is. The late hit
on
on Nathan Kapungo, defensive lineman, sophomore from Westbrook, Maine. With Demorat now setting up for a first and goal from the 5. Demorat in the gun with Sneed to his right, Coco Suas to his left. The run is kept by Demorat. The pitch goes right back to Coco Suas. He makes a man miss. Looking for the end zone. Is he in? Touchdown, Fordham. Fotis Coco Suas with his second rushing touchdown on the day. Puts the Rams within 11. 42-41, 2:27 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and Tim Demorat on that one touchdown away from tying the all-time record. Instead, kind of shows his leadership value on there, putting the team first rather than his own statistics. Would have loved to see him kind of pass that one to Coco Suas, but brings this game back within 10.
Brandon Peskin in on for the extra point. As now whistle sounds.
Of a touchdown is under review.
Now they'll review the touchdown. Some great views here in the FCS playoffs as the NCAA is running the show this weekend. And as the two sides go to their respective benches, we'll try to see if Coco Suas got in. It sure looked like he did, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I agree. I thought he was about half a yard short. It looked like his right knee was down just a little bit before he reached that ball across the pylon. However, like you mentioned, the replay has been very good here so far today. We'll see what the call is.
So our referees are looking at the review down near the near side 20-yard line. And it's the Big Sky referees for this game. The NCAA tries to make the referees as impartial as possible in terms of conferences, as the Big Sky is mostly played in the Pacific Northwest, or more of the western side of the country, and looking at the Montana States, Sacramento States of the world. And the Fordham sideline has not been happy with those referees all game, but they'll look to keep this one to standing and kind of hold Fordham on life support in this game.
Yeah, Fordham desperately needs this to be a touchdown if they want any shot of getting back into it. They still have 2 timeouts left, so would definitely get the ball back.
The run the field stands.
So touchdown stands as boos rain down a little bit from Wildcat Stadium. And Brandon Peskin will kick the extra point. So Will Hazlitt will be the holder. And this kick will come right to left towards the video board here at Wildcat Stadium. It's Peskin, the junior Syracuse transfer. Snap down, kick is up, and it is good. 52-42, 2:27 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Stick around for the one-on-one post-game report. We'll send it to the studio with Will Talent and Mike Calamari, and they'll be joined with us here in the booth, Andrew Gullotta, Ryan Gregoire, and Danny Scott here on 90.7 and YouTube Live.
That's Danny Scott. I'm Andrew Gullotta. And Danny, this game with 2:27 remaining, Fordham will most likely look for an onside kick, you would think, with 2:27 remaining. The Rams do have 2 timeouts, and those will be of large use here in the last 2 minutes and 27 seconds of this game. But the Rams, they would definitely at this point need a miracle.
Yeah, it's definitely miracle time here if the Rams have any shot of getting back into this game. It looks like the UNH sideline is sending out their hands team, but Fordham would definitely accept a onside kick recovery here. We'll see if they're able to pull that one off.
Now, if you're Fordham, do you try the pooch kick kind of that they do, where they put the ball high in the air and have their special teamers run down? We'll have to find out. But Brandon Peskin getting set to kick this one away with a timeout called by UNH. So they'll use it to get, their right positioning down on special teams. So 30-second timeout, and, as Fordham will most likely look for this onside kick, you see Coach Santos for UNH really trying to get his best players on the field.
Yeah, Coach Santos, a first-year head coach, but the coach of the year in the CAA, and that's a very wise decision on his point. See what Fordham comes out and see if they are in fact going for the onside, anything you can tell from what personnel they have on the field, and get your guys set up in the right spot.
Rick Santos, his first season as full-time head coach, was an interim head coach in 2019 for the UNH Wildcats as well. As Peskin now getting set to kick this one away with UNH's hands team on the field. Peskin kicking it, looks like, towards the near sideline. With Peskin waiting for the official signal to play. As he approaches the ball, and it's an onside kick, high bouncer. It's received by DJ Linkins, and that should almost do it with 2:25 remaining. Rams still have 2 timeouts, but they would need a quick 3 and out, and hopeful that UNH doesn't score any points.
Yeah, Fordham definitely looking for a quick 3 and out, and then we will go back to the onside kick to see if they're able to recover it. But Fordham still a couple timeouts, still not completely dead in this one, but it's looking increasingly more like it.
So, Rosemer in the pistol, Laube in the backfield as well. 1 receiver, 3 tight ends in the formation. As Rosemer takes a snap, the run goes up the gut to Laube, who breaking off Fordham defenders. He has it at the 31. A nice game by Laube on first down, and it brings up about a 2nd and 4.
And Fordham not using a timeout after that. Kind of interesting decision as to not use it.
Clock ticking under 2:05 remaining. It kind of makes sense, I would think, because now you want to see what UNH could do if they have a big tackle for loss, and you could save that timeout. And now it's Rosemer in the pistol. 1 receiver, 3 tight ends, all to the right side. Receiver in motion's Morriso. The snap is handed off to Laube, who pushes forward for a first down. He gets it, and that will just about do it as the chains move. We'll see if Coach Joe Conlin calls a timeout, as the clock is still ticking under 1:30, and it's looking like the Rams may just concede this game, which is a little bit surprising, but at this point you would still need a dear miracle.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up 1st and 10, this game is pretty much all but over unless Fordham was able to force a quick turnover and get a quick touchdown, but looks like the Wildcats will go into victory formation.
As Brosmer kneels it down in victory formation, and this crowd on their feet, giving the Wildcats a standing ovation, and the Fordham sideline being consoled as the clock ticks under 50 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats up 10 over Fordham in a hard-fought game as the crowd screaming UNH. Brosmer will be under center again, taking this kneel. All Fordham could do is watch, and they just need one more snap is UNH. Brosmer takes a snap, goes down to his right leg, and that should just about do it. The two sides are flooding the middle of the field, shaking hands of what will be between Rick Santos and Joe Conlin, a bit of a homecoming, but for Fordham, they fall short. They lose the first round matchup against UNH, 52-42, and the clock officially hits triple zeros in this FCS first round matchup. And Danny, a big, tough loss for the Rams.
Definitely a tough loss for the Rams. This team, so much promise coming into this first round playoff game. The number one offense in the nation, just the amount of talent on this team, the leadership of this team. It stings definitely for the Rams to go down like this in the first round.
And Fordham now leaving towards their far side locker room. They have a lot to be proud of. A 9-win season going right down to the wire with an FBS team in Ohio that went on to win the MAC East. They'll play for a trophy in the FBS and the MAC. You go right down to the wire with Holy Cross, but the theme really with this Ram team, when they played these good teams, these really solid teams within the FCS or the FBS, they just fell short in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't get that one clutch big touchdown or one clutch big stop.
Yeah, today it really felt like the Rams kept shooting themselves in the foot. The 2 interceptions, the fumble, allowing so many big plays. For Fordham, it's got to be disappointing to lose in this way because there felt like so many opportunities to get back into this one. They have the offensive capability to do it. However, just too many mistakes here today, and that causes this one to end in favor of the Wildcats.
Tim DeMora and Ryan Greenhagen sharing a hug as the two captains will now leave the field for the last time as a Fordham Ram. And Danny, what are your final thoughts from this one?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking to watch this team go down in this fashion. This team has been so amazing to watch all year, so exciting, provided me and our entire WFUV team with so many good memories this year. Watching Tim DeMora and Ryan Greenhagen walk off the field is very tough.
That'll wrap up our coverage from the University of New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Wildcats will move on to the second round of the FCS playoffs. They will play another Patriot League team in Holy Cross. Fordham moves to 9-3 on the season as their 2022 is finished. Let's send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Will Talent. Will?
The one-on-one post-game report.
Well, not the result we were looking for here at the Rose Hill Studios. Welcome back, everybody, to the one-on-one post-game report. I'm Will Talent. Happy you could rejoin us to recap this game. An unfortunate loss for the Rams, 52-42. Kind of a classic shootout that the Rams have had all season long. Shootout after shootout. Tim DeMora putting up a lot of points with all the offense that he has. The defense not playing the best of football, but still doing their best to keep the Rams in the game. Just wasn't enough today. Final score once again, New Hampshire 52, Fordham 42, as the Wildcats advance to the second round of the FCS playoffs. But let's jump right into these highlights. We'll start all the way back in the first quarter when Trey Sneed set up the Fordham offense nicely, putting them in the red zone after this 45-yard run. But shortly after, Sneed would come would cough the ball up and fumble inside the 10-yard line. Speaking of big offensive drives for UNH, notching their first score of the game. After another quick scoreless Fordham drive, Dylan Labie would haul the 87-yard touchdown reception, the longest yardage from any receiver in this game, to give the Wildcats a 14-zip lead. It would not be until midway through the first quarter where Fordham would earn their first touchdown of the game when Tim DeMorat found Jeff Sissio for the 16-yard score.
Takes the head-high snap, surveying the field, stepping up in the pocket, throwing for his tight end. Touchdown, Fordham! Jeff Sissio makes a toe drag swag touchdown, and the Rams are back in the game. 14-6, 2:19 remaining in the first quarter.
But UNH would not quit, and quarterback Max Brosmer would counter once again, launching his third touchdown pass of the half, and this one a 65-yard long shot. The score at this point was 21-7, and Fordham was in need of a big play, and they got it on a massive fourth down stop. However, on the offensive side, DeMorat couldn't come through as the first pass of the drive was intercepted by Randall Harris. UNH gained back the ball and scored another touchdown to make it 28-7. Down 21 in desperate need of a score, DeMorat found the first-team All-Patriot League wide receiver DeKeese Carter for this 51-yard touchdown.
DeMorat takes the snap, unloads one deep for Carter. He has it. Walk-in touchdown for Fordham. DeMorat to Carter gets the Rams back in this game. 28-13, 8:56 remaining in the second quarter.
Later in the half, with minutes left on the clock, DeMorat cut the lead to 7 going into halftime with this huge play to MJ Wright.
DeMorat right back in the gun, takes the waist-high snap, unloads one deep for MJ Wright, coming back to the ball. He makes the catch. 10-5, touchdown Fordham. Tim DeMorat to MJ Wright, and the Rams are only down 8. 28-20, 1 minute remaining in the first half.
And Heron Moroso scored his second total touchdown of the day with a colossal 71-yard run into the Fordham end zone as soon as the new half began.
Receiver in motion. Now the end around goes to that receiver in motion. It's Moroso, has the far side numbers, passes the 50, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown UNH.
Fordham turned the ball over on 4th and 7. A 5-yard pass to Trey Sneed couldn't move the chains. Fordham was able to force a punt and convert on the other end from this rushing touchdown by Julius Luffridge.
Left to DeMorat, who stares into the 4-3 defense of UNH. The run goes up the gut to Luffridge, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Fordham. Julius Luffridge goes untouched into the end zone, and the Rams are within 8, 35-27, 5:59 remaining in the third quarter.
But the Wildcats responded instantly as Dylan Labie found the end zone for the second time today, and the Wildcats were ahead 42-27. Fotis Kokosoulis recorded his first rushing touchdown of the season, which was good for his 15th total on the season.
DeMorat takes the waist-high snap. The run is kept by DeMorat, gives it to Kokosoulis, touchdown Fordham. The triple option gets the touchdown for the Rams as they pull within one score again, 42-34, 13-18 remaining in the fourth quarter.
UNH would put up a field goal and then another Dylan Labie touchdown, his 4th of the game. Fotis Kokosoulis rushed into the end zone for his 16th of the year. But that would be all as the Rams dropped this one 52-42 in the first round of the FCS playoffs. It was a tough one. Fordham, a lot of inconsistencies all around in the second half, but we'll welcome in Ryan and Andrew back on site at UNH right now, and I'll open the floor to you guys right now with this question. Fordham's offense, the highlight of their season, what wasn't clicking for them today?
Well, it was really the fourth quarter that you kind of saw it be stymied a little bit. It was turnovers in the first half, but they were moving the ball, so I wasn't too worried just because they were able to move it really at will. They found their groove in that second and third quarter, but in the fourth quarter when really it mattered most, you were down by 10 multiple times you had the ball, and they just couldn't get that stop, or they couldn't get those points. After this defense made a stop, got a turnover, And, this offense led by Tim DeMorat, awesome all season. I'd say their one bugaboo was in those big moments when they needed the points, especially in the last half of the season. They just couldn't convert, and that's what happened late in this game. But you also got to give kudos to UNH. They did a great job in the fourth quarter. Maybe there was something schematically that really worked out for them. And at the end of the day, they were the better team. They got the turnovers when they needed to, and they got the big plays when they needed to.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Andrew just finished off with saying. They got the big plays when they needed to, and Fordham didn't. Every time there was a chance to get the momentum back, UNH stole it right back, getting interceptions, getting fumble recoveries, stopping the Fordham offense, forcing a four down, 4 and out. It was just tough to watch Fordham not be able to do what they've grown so accustomed to doing all year, and they did it against very good competition. They did it against Holy Cross. They did it against Ohio. They did it against Monmouth. They did it against Albany. However, tonight, UNH really came out and proved why they're the CAA co-champions, a very, very good football team, well coached, and then Dylan Lauby was so dominant today for UNH that Fordham had no answer for him.
Yeah, well, appreciate you guys letting me on the show. And something Andrew said, a minute ago, I think really speaks volumes about what this game was. In Fordham's 3 losses this year, you could really look at getting a stop. That 1 3rd and long, 4th and long, getting that yard. That's what it comes down to, especially in the first 2 games. There are moments in this fourth quarter where Fordham looks like they have them on the ropes, down 7, 3rd and 10, a dot, sets up New Hampshire in field goal range. And that was kind of the theme of the season in these losses. Fordham was right there in all 3 of those games, and in all 3 couldn't make the big play to take it home.
Andrew Gullotta, our play-by-play voice. Danny Scott, our color commentator. Ryan Gregoire, our on-site producer, joining me on the post-game show. Guys, it felt as though both the offensive and defensive units, they just weren't helping each other out today. Defense, they'd get a big stop. Offense wouldn't convert. The offense would put together an excellent drive, sometimes maybe just a few passes, maybe a run here and there. Defense, they'd give it right back. Do you guys think that impacted the overall emotions on the sidelines?
I do think it did, because I felt like, this offense and defense were kind of just a bit off kilter, and they're usually so on kilter. They're usually great at making, especially at around halftime, making the stop so the offense could go back out and score, and they really feed off each other. And today it just, it wasn't really the case, especially I think in that first half when this offense, had those 3 turnovers. They were quick. 2 out of the 3 were at the beginning of a drive, and the defense had to come rushing back onto the field. That's a tough situation for a defense that has struggled all season to start, to put them in bad situations. That's not what you want to do, and this offense has done a great job all season of giving this defense every chance to be successful. Tonight, you kind of saw a little bit of that other side of that, where the offense, especially in that first half, was not making plays, a lot of turnovers, and that kind of hurt the defense. But overall, the Rams, they didn't play complementary football like they usually do.
Yeah, I completely agree with what Andrew just said, and agree with what you just said too, Will. It felt like when the defense would make a big play, when they finally forced a turnover, the offense comes out and has a 3 and out. When the offense goes down, makes a huge touchdown to bring them within 7, the defense couldn't get a stop. It was just every single time one team, one phase of the game was playing good, the other couldn't get it done. Special teams, they force that huge block, and then Tim DeMorat throws an interception. It was just every single thing that felt like it could go wrong went wrong today for the Rams, and that's it definitely was the difference maker in today's game, and it was hard to watch if you're a huge fan of the Rams.
Just to add on here, not to repeat what they said, I think special teams too, and something that maybe gets swept under the rug a little, it's that defense on special teams. It seemed like every time New Hampshire got the ball on a kickoff, they were on the 40 already. And when you're able to get that good a field position and have Fordham's defense struggle the way they have this year, you're not doing yourself any favors. So it really comes down to all 3 phases. You can look at areas where each 3 were at fault. This was a complete team loss, and I guess if that's a positive way to spin it, it wasn't your defense continually letting you down like you've seen, or the offense maybe not coming up late. It was all 3 phases struggling in this one that led to the loss.
Yeah, Ryan, very interesting you note that, because I was at the game last week. They were playing Colgate, and I noticed the same exact thing. Colgate would be on their on the 30, 35, the 40, sometimes even the 45 on kick returns, something that definitely needed some work. We didn't see it today, but guys, all three of you have been with the team every step of the way this year. What are your closing thoughts on this great season of Fordham football?
Man, just a crazy season from top to bottom. I mean, every game was basically a shootout, extremely exciting to call. I think the thing that a lot of broadcasters say is that the worst game to call is, a blowout where your team's, the team you're calling is getting blown out and it's a lot of runs and defense. That was not this Rams team. They were going to show out the fireworks every single week. A guy like Tim DeMorat, he ends one passing touchdown short of the FCS record, a guy that will have a chance to play on Sundays to, call those guys that are just special talents and really, the best players not only within, their conference this year. I mean, Tim DeMorat will probably go down as the best Patriot League quarterback ever, and that's extremely, impressive. You look at the defense and what Ryan Greenhagen brought to this team and all the grit that defense showed, and they got better every week. A defense that looked kind of lost in week one, and they got better every week. You got to give them a ton of credit to fighting all the way down to the wire. And then also, I'm just proud of what we've done here on air. I mean, coming off, this is really the first full year since COVID and all the restrictions. And I think, from the three of us here to everyone in the studio has just done an awesome job. And, to go down the list of everyone that's helped out, obviously our sports director, Bobby Chaffardini, we wouldn't be on air without him and everything he's done for us. Obviously, Ryan Gregoire, a sports manager. He's done a lot of games color here on site as well. Danny Scott's called games with me. He missed Thanksgiving with his family to stay here, which shows the dedication of everyone we have on staff. Sam Davis, Lou Orlando, Bridge Gotham, and Mike producing, Lou Orlando producing, Julia Moss producing as well. All the hosts like Will and Brian and Thomas Aiello, Brian Raybacks, just everyone that, brings into these broadcasts. And even our SID, our sports information director, Joe DeBari, who drives us to all these games, driving up on Black Friday, 5 hours.
Shout out Joe.
Yeah, shout out Joe, who does it not just for football, but for every sport. I mean, it really takes a village to do these broadcasts. And what we've accomplished here up in the booth, I think everyone should be extremely proud here at WFUV.
Yeah, I don't know how to follow that one up. Andrew really poured his heart out there, but I completely agree with everything that he just said. This team was just so much fun to watch all year. Even when I wasn't broadcasting the games, I was involved in the broadcast in one way or another, whether that was on-site producing at Wagner in Ohio, whether that's studio hosting like I was at Holy Cross, or doing updates for a couple of games. This team, just to say I was a part of this team was so much fun. I really enjoyed every single second of it, watching these guys, watching the Ryan Greenhagens, watching the Tim DeMorats breaking records and doing so many things, Fotis Kokosoulis, DeKeese Carter, everyone, MJ Wright. There's just so many names that I could go down this list to be thankful for, to watch them play this year. They broke so many records. They were so electric. There were so many fireworks. This team was awesome. And a big shout out to everyone that helped with FUV, especially the two guys in this booth with me right now, Ryan Gregoire and Andrew Gullotta. We spent a lot of time together over the course of this year, being on the road, in the hotels, traveling together, meetings during the week to set up this broadcast. And it was a magical season. It's very depressing that it's coming to the end, but I could not be more thankful for the time that I had with this football team and with the crew that we've put together all year. It's been a very, very truly magical experience.
Yeah, beyond fortunate to get to broadcast this team. I think Andrew hit a lot of the names I wanted to thank. Also, shout out to Coach Conlin, too, for meeting with us, every week for Coach's Sound, getting that perspective. And the two guys next to me, for sure. Andrew's given up a lot to be on this team, and he brings up Danny bringing up Thanksgiving. Literally, such an important thing, but that's how much these guys care about this team. Andrew, every game, day in and day out, such professional calling this team. I know last year color, this year taking the step up to the play-by-play voice. You did a great job. You should be super proud. You as well, Danny, the dedication that you've showed, really second to none, and how much you're willing to put into this team and this station. So should be really proud. Obviously, all the people that Andrew, talked about deserve a lot of praise, too, for the work they poured in. And just fortunate to watch this team. Looking back, to say you called Tim DeMorat's games, who knows where he's going to end up. But what you can't deny is this guy was a Patriot League and Fordham legend. He is the most accomplished quarterback in that sense. There's no denying that. Ryan Greenhagen on the other side of the ball. Just two absolute ballers, and it goes so much deeper than that. Even guys like John Alfrio, one of my best friends, he's helped me a lot with prep and with, guys' names and stuff that's gone on with the team. So anytime I've had a question going to him, appreciate that from top to bottom. And it really was a dream come true to get to call this team this season.
Yeah, and one more guy that I want to shout out, not sure if he's listening, but the number one fan of this Fordham football team, Fordham helmet guy, has been awesome all season long. He wasn't able to make the trip up today, but he's been a big catalyst of this team. I know the players love him, so thankful for him as well.
Fordham helmet guy, quite the sensation at campus, and especially here in the studios at WFUV. Andrew, Danny, and Ryan, we all thank you so much for your hard work in making this season spectacular. Everybody from top to bottom. It takes a lot to make these broadcasts what they are. We all put in a lot of time, and you guys making the trip out there, making this sound just as good as it should have been. You guys are the best. And special shout out to Bobby Chaffardini to allowing all of us to let our dreams come true here at Fordham. It was a pleasure and it was a blast calling games and being a part of this great football team and season. We have other sports to unpack as the school year continues. And that's going to do it for our post-game show today. We thank you all for tuning in. Some fun stats before we leave, though. Tim DeMorat just one pass shy of the FCS record, like Andrew said. In Fordham, they scored 40 points or more in all 12 games they played this season. A phenomenal year. And finally, New Hampshire 52, Fordham 42, UNH. They advance to the next round where they will play the number 8 seed and Patriot League champion Holy Cross Crusaders. The sports director at WFUV Sports is Bobby Chaffardini. The on-site producer of today's game was Ryan Gregoire. The in-studio producer and co-host during our broadcast was Michael Calamari. And the highlight editor today was Daniel Bartels. Quick reminder, Fordham men's basketball will host Harvard tomorrow at 1:30 in the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium. Coverage starting just shortly before tip on 90.7 FM. Fordham, their impressive football season